Summoned to another world by a goddess along with his classmates, they marveled at this magical realm, but Jang Han only wanted one thing: to go home immediately. After all, why would I give up my warm, comfortable home to venture into this world? Even the goddess who summoned him said that if Jang Han was unwilling, there was nothing she could do to force him. In the end, the goddess did send him away, but he remained in this world alone. Everyone else had vanished, and only monsters surrounded him. Just now, a group of students were summoned by the goddess to this world. The chosen warriors faced the imminent revival of the evil Great Demon King. This world is in crisis, and we need heroes to help. The students still found everything before them unbelievable. One student was the first to ask, "Is this place like a video game, with levels, skill, status, windows, and monsters?" The goddess gave a confirming answer, then answered the students' successive questions one by one. From her explanations, they learned that everyone's abilities differ, and only those recognized and blessed by the gods of this world can become true heroes. Moreover, they cannot contact their original world now. Only after defeating the Great Demon King can one wish be granted. Any other questions? Jang Han slowly raised his left hand. "Please send me back to Earth. I was clear earlier, you only grant wishes after the Demon King is defeated. But I don't want to be a hero, nor do I want to save some other world. A world with countless lives is facing destruction, and you have no ounce of mercy? Sorry, I don't want my family to worry." Then the goddess stepped forward and asked, "If anyone else doesn't want to be a hero like him, please step forward. I won't force anyone." But in the end, only Jang Han stood before the teleportation portal. "Mr. Jang, it seems you're not cut out to be a hero. I will send you away from here." Staring at the deep, swirling portal, Jang Han walked in without looking back. But when he opened his eyes again, he found himself in a dense forest with the footsteps of wild beasts behind him. Hopeful, Jang Han glanced back only to see 3 fierce half-orcs. "Damn that goddess. She lied to me. This is definitely not Earth." Meanwhile, a holy light descended upon the temple where Jang Han's classmates had been transported, about to begin the god's trial. On the other side, Jang Han was dodging monsters' attacks. That cursed goddess dared to trick me. She clearly had no intention of sending me back to Earth. Since this really is a magical world, maybe there's some kind of device. Suddenly, his status bar appeared. Jang Han, no blessing, cursed state. Languages of races hostile to heroes are auto-translated. Experience gained from hunting and achievements greatly reduced. Damn it, she even cursed my upgrade window. Men who just sweet-talk the gods receive divine blessings and heal instantly even when severely injured. Just now, Jang Han's status bar appeared before him, revealing he had been cursed by that hateful goddess. Exhausted from relentless pursuit, Jang Han swore, "That damn goddess, don't let me catch you." Suddenly, an arrow struck Jang Han precisely. What's going on? A group of elves wielding bows appeared, while the half-orcs stepped forward to negotiate with them. Seizing the opportunity, Jang Han struggled to move and escape, eventually hiding behind a large tree. Should I pray to the gods? This is all that damn goddess's fault. Even if I die, I won't pray to any so-called gods. Just as he prepared to accept death calmly, a prompt appeared. A god is watching you. Although he didn't understand what was happening, his body honestly called out for divine help. The god asked why he was alone. Jang Han was about to blurt out, "It's that goddess's fault," but reconsidered what if they were in cahoots. That'd be the end of me. So he immediately begged the god to save him first, but was refused. Gods do not save strangers. "Are all these gods outsiders?" Jang Han muttered, provoking the god's curiosity. What is an outsider? Outsider isn't exactly a flattering term. If another god cursed me again, I'd be truly doomed. Then a clever thought struck him. An outsider is a lone wolf in the wild. The god liked that term very much. Jang Han sighed in relief, having slipped by. He quickly capitalized on the moment to ask the god for help, but the god asked, "Are you also an outsider?" "I'm an outsider too, which is why I was summoned here alone." The god pondered whether to help the outsider, recalling his own sorrowful past. Then he raised his left hand high, deciding to aid the poor outsider. A healing holy light surged toward Jang Han, instantly dissolving the sword wound on his knee. Jang Han felt all his pain vanish completely. So this guy really is a god. Watching Jang Han move freely, even the god felt a deep sense of pride. At that moment, a blessing called Outsider appeared on his status bar. Outsiders will have all states reset except death. If the lone wolf leaves the wilderness, terrible things will happen. So if I'm no longer an outsider, I won't receive this blessing? The god made it clear he would only aid outsiders. Just then, the orcs spotted their hidden prey, Jang Han, and confused by the meaning of outsider, immediately began to flee. Under the god's blessing, Jang Han felt no fatigue at all, even injuries would heal instantly. But just as he thought he could survive with this blessing, he found no path ahead. Staring at the bottomless cliff, it was obvious that jumping meant death. Behind him, A pack of ravenous orcs closed in relentlessly. What choice did he have? All 33 classmates were summoned to another world, but Jang Han only wanted to return to his warm home. Though the goddess agreed, she ultimately sent him into a den of monsters. Soon, he desperately fled to the cliff's edge, with the orc horde hot on his heels. In a moment of inspiration, he turned to all the orcs and said, "I'm just a small piece of meat, not enough for all of you. How about this? Whoever catches me first gets to feast on the most delicious buenyan." The simple-minded orcs surged forward like a swarm. Jang Han grabbed the nearest orc, kicked off with both feet, and fell backward, dragging the orcs down with him. Jang Han laughed nonstop as he fell, making the orcs think he had lost his mind. With a loud crash, they landed at the cliff's bottom. When Jang Han opened his eyes, he was still alive thanks to the outsider effect. As long as it wasn't instant death, he would heal immediately. Even the god admired his courage. But then, a barely alive orc raised its weapon to kill Jang Han. Strangely, this dying werewolf also had a status bar showing it as a level 3 blue moon beast. Its high level was probably why it hadn't died. Jang Han picked up a sharp stone, knowing that killing above his level would grant more experience. Meanwhile, Sion Yo was teaching the classmates as beginners. There are 2 ways to level up: gain experience by killing creatures with status windows or receive blessings from the god. Someone asked, "Does the god watch over us all the time?" Sion Yo confirmed this but warned that gods aren't human, so don't judge them by human standards. Some male gods agreed, saying they were like air, so does that mean gods serve only those they find interesting? The deity praised this idea, and the next moment, he received a god's blessing. Name, Jiang Mi, level 1 Farad, charm blessing. A captivating charm radiated from him, instantly turning the surrounding classmates of the opposite sex into love-struck followers. Sion Yo quickly urged him to stop using this skill, but it was too late. A goddess expressed displeasure, and Jiang Mi's status bar showed a cursed punishment. All damage you take will increase greatly. Each impure act will bring a terrible penalty. Sion Yo explained, once you receive a curse or blessing, it stays with you unless you die. Even a slight touch causes Jiang Mi to scream in pain. Ganju encouraged him not to give up, saying curses can be offset by blessings and the pain eases as your level rises. Scene change. Jang Han had defeated the level 3 Blue Moon Beast, but his level hadn't changed at all. Was it the curse, or did leveling normally require massive experience? The god nearby refused to comment. As Jang Han searched for a way out, he suddenly heard orcs hunting for food ahead. Those damned orcs just wouldn't quit. Their noses twitched, detecting Jang Han's scent nearby. The man was thrown into a monster den by the otherworldly goddess at the start, yet he used science to kill all the werewolves and even helped teammates fend off a sneak attack by Nang Wang. But the next moment, he was betrayed and killed by his own team. Just now, Jang Han used the outsider blessing to slaughter hundreds of werewolves, but another pack beneath the cliff soon caught the scent of human blood and headed toward its source. Jang Han hid behind a tree, silently observing the werewolves. After a moment's thought, he looked at the vines above and used the dagger and stones he had just acquired to craft a slingshot. I'm going to show these man-eating monsters the power of science. Just by spinning the rope continuously, I can generate massive impact. Although I can only hold on for 5 seconds at most, under this powerful outsider blessing, as long as I avoid fatal wounds, I'll recover instantly. In other words, I can keep fighting on the edge of death. At that moment, a stone flew straight and struck Jang Han's head. Instantly, the pack of werewolves seized the opportunity and lunged at him. But in the next second, Jang Han had them all reeling, their backsides drenched. Soon, every werewolf lay sprawled on the ground. Even the gods showed their admiration. One surviving werewolf revealed to me where the humans dwelled. Faced with Jang Han's brutal ferocity, the werewolf immediately confessed and pointed toward the distance. Without hesitation, Jang Han gave him a swift and final end. Then Jang Han realized that despite killing so many monsters, his level hadn't changed at all. As he pondered the reason, voices of humans suddenly drifted from nearby. Jang Han headed toward the source and saw 2 men and a woman speaking in a strange, otherworldly language. But the next moment, an arrow shot straight at the man beside Jang Han. Jang Han tried to explain he wasn't hostile, only to realize that language barriers made communication impossible. So Jang Han made a shocking decision. He raised his hands and knelt on the ground, showing he meant no harm. Though we can't speak, universal body language must be understood. After a brief exchange, Manhwa suddenly grabbed the man and woman, ready to restrain them. I really am a good guy. The scene shifted as Jang Han began following the 3 toward the village. Soon they spotted smoke rising in the distance. Just as he thought he could finally leave the forest, a group of fierce beastmen charged from behind. But with his powerful allies' help, the beastmen were quickly dealt with. Then suddenly, a silver Nang Wang appeared and attacked the archer. Sword in hand, Jang Han immediately blocked the assault. The relentless Nang Wang reached out, aiming to crush Jang Han's head with a palm strike. Jang Han dodged instantly and seized the moment to stab the Nang Wang in the head. Nang Wang fell peacefully to the ground. Thanks to you, or I'd be in trouble. Yet what awaited him was a teammate's sharp sword. An arrow pierced Jang Han's chest, and he collapsed heavily in front of his comrade. That damn guy almost ruined our plan. Luckily, Nang Wang's surprise attack revealed just how dangerous he really was. He looked like a weakling, but his skills were exceptional. If we let him live, our original plan would surely fail. Indeed, someone like him wouldn't willingly be sold as a slave. However, the weapon he used looked like a good find. Then Huang Mo stepped forward, ready to take Jang Han's weapon. But at that moment, Jang Han's status window appeared before Huang Mo only the living possessed status windows. The next second, a dagger sliced through Huang Mo's neck. You bastards can all just wait to die. The man had only taken a hot bath but became a sacrifice for Chunjang's dark magic. Just moments ago, Jang Han had slain Huang Mo on the spot, frightening the two nearby into suspecting he was an immortal demon. Before Jushi Ho could strike, Jang Han closed in and sliced his throat in an instant. Then another archer's arrow struck Jang Han. That won't kill me. Saying that, he advanced toward Manhwa. Manhwa began to apologize non-stop. I was wrong. Please spare me. Ungrateful Manhwa, you didn't think of this ending when you stabbed me in the back. Now you regret it. Yet Manhwa couldn't understand a word of what this foreigner said. The scene shifted. The man had changed into Manhwa's clothes. Though they fit fairly well, they still felt somewhat uncomfortable. The god behind him suddenly laughed, saying the god respected personal tastes. This isn't about tastes. He's the only one of the three whose build matches mine. The other two wear heavy armor, which doesn't suit me. This armor actually suits me well. Jang Han recalled Manhwa's status window that popped up before his death. He wasn't a hero, yet he bore a god's blessing. Is receiving a god's blessing common in this world? At this moment, the god tells Jang Han, this isn't something you need to worry about. Have you decided where to go next? After a moment's thought, Jang Han decides to stick to his original plan and head to the human village. The scene shifts to Jang Han arriving at the village. Although he can't understand the guard's language, money grants him free passage throughout the village. Thankfully, he still has a large bag of gold coins from previous loot. He then finds a place to take a good bath. Just then, a sudden knock sounds at the door, with someone demanding Jang Han to open up. Because of the goddess's curse, Jang Han can only communicate with hostile races, so whoever is outside definitely isn't a good person. He just doesn't know which race they belong to: elf, werewolf, or human. Jang Han quickly dresses, ready for battle at any moment. He cautiously opens the door and signals for the visitor to come inside. The visitor claims to be the village chief, Chonjang, who heard about a traveler speaking a different language and came to check it out. Jang Han thinks, Chonjang is certainly a unique name. Jang Han freezes, this guy can actually see my information. If you don't want to be seen, you should hide your status window. Then, disappointed, he says, I thought you were an elf, but it's clear you're a foreigner. This village has a deep grudge against the elves. The elves greedily drove all the werewolves out of the forest, which led to werewolves invading the village below the mountain, causing countless villagers to die. One last question. You mixed this paralysis potion into your dinner. Why haven't you shown any reaction yet? At these words, Jang Han immediately grabs a pen and attacks Chonjang. But the next second, his whole body goes weak, collapsing where he stands. This is a super strong potion I specially prepared for elves. You're not wrong, it's just your bad luck. Soon, Jang Han is taken to a dungeon. People only know about the mighty werewolves, but in truth, werewolves are victims too. The greedy elves are our true enemies. He was once a homeless street wanderer but has now become a ruthless dark magician, all because he too carries the goddess's curse. Just moments ago, after angrily accusing the elves of their crimes, Chonjang revealed the curse he suffers from. As the elves' mortal enemy, your lifespan will be greatly shortened. That's why he wants to sacrifice Jang Han. This piques Chonjang's interest in Jang Han's dagger. Where did you get this? He looks at the dying elves behind Chonjang. Jang Han refuses to meet such a fate. This is loot I found after killing an elf. In a way, we share a common enemy. But Chonjang shows no intention of letting him go. You see my status window, so you should know I'm a dark magician. Jang Han looks surprised. I wouldn't have guessed if you hadn't told me. Chonjang waves his hand, and an elf girl collapses to the ground. Chonjang raised the candle, about to begin the sacrificial ritual. The elf's curse constantly eats away at my life, but I can extend it through these sacrifices. As a reward for killing an elf, I'll make your death painless. Well, I appreciate your generosity, but I have one last thing to say. I'm eager to hear your final words. What do you want to say? All these years, no one has recognized your efforts. It must have been lonely. So you understand me, huh? Of course, I am an outsider after all. You said outsiders are lone wolves acting alone, so I'm an outsider too. Today's a good day. I've finally met someone who understands my great mission. An elf is placed inside a powerful magic array. As Chonjang slowly activates the formation, the elf's life vanishes instantly, turning into black mist. But Jang Han notices Chonjang's appearance hasn't changed much. Chonjang explains, "I don't sacrifice elves to gain lifespan." Then he tears open his chest, revealing a wolf's head growing from his chest. "That's right, I sacrifice the elf to gain the power of the wolf, a fusion of two races that both harbor hatred toward elves. Soon, I'll use my human intellect and wolf physique to exact my revenge. I am the true outsider. Thanks to you explaining what an outsider is, I'll make good use of your life. Now, continue." Chonjang then activated the dark magic circle beneath Jang Han's feet. "Comrade Jang Han, surrender your life to me." At that moment, Jang Han discovered that the dark magic required the unified will of the sacrifice to activate. Even if he disagreed, he couldn't escape Chonjang's grasp. Thinking quickly, he said, "Before I die, I have one request." Chonjang looked impatient. "What else?" "I want to see Misa one last time before I die." "Misa? You mean that mercenary from Gongnu? Why do you want to see him?" "Because I am his lover." Hearing this, Chonjang grabbed Jang Han's collar tightly. "Stop spouting nonsense. There's nothing in this village I don't know. You think I don't know Huang Mo is actually Misa's lover? Your information is outdated. If you don't believe me, smell the scent on me." Indeed, the scent on him was truly Misa's. After a moment's thought, Chonjang agreed to Jang Han's request. "If you survive the sacrifice, I'll let you see Misa." The next second, the magic circle blazed brightly as Jang Han's life began to drain rapidly. All 99 classmates were transported to another world, but Jang Han only wanted to return to his comfortable home. Although the goddess granted his request, she sent him before a horde of monsters. After a narrow escape to a town, he was captured by Chonjang, who intended to use him as a sacrifice for dark magic. Yet, inside the magic circle, Jang Han not only survived but absorbed all of Chonjang's power. Just moments ago, Jang Han reluctantly agreed to Chonjang's request. But after the magic circle activated, blessed by the outsider's favor, Jang Han completely reversed the situation. Before Chonjang could react, Jang Han shattered his teeth with a single punch. Chonjang clutched his jaw in pain. "How dare you trick me?" Staring at the unscathed Jang Han, Chonjang was stunned. "How could you survive the dark magic unharmed?" "It's naturally because of the god's blessing. Since I lived, now you must keep your promise and let me go." Then, Jang Han charged toward the gate with an elf captive, but Chonjang clearly didn't want to honor his promise. "If I release the life force I took from you, this contract will be nullified." Streams of life energy flowed back into Jang Han's body. Just as Chonjang thought victory was certain, his life continued to drain until he became a white-haired old man. "Are you a centuries-old vampire? No one can lose so much life force and remain unscathed." Jang Han said, "That's because I am the outsider." Just as Jang Han prepared to leave, the wolf head on Chonjang's chest roared, "I'll smash you to pulp." Then, streams of red energy gathered on Chonjang's palms, surging fiercely toward Jang Han. Instantly, Jang Han's chest was slashed. This power was called werewolf swordsmanship. I intended to use it against powerful elves. Just then, the wolf head was shocked by what it saw. Jang Han's wound healed completely in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, Chonjang was utterly drained. In his flawless state, Jang Han easily defeated him. Then, Jang Han freed all the imprisoned elves and summoned the villagers here. But when Jang Han thought this matter was over, mocking laughter came from behind. He slowly turned around, only to see a crowd of villagers glaring at him with malice. Jang Han thought they were here to send him off, but the scene shifted, and the villagers again forced Jang Han to the edge of a cliff. What exactly those elves told the villagers is unknown. With no way out, he jumped off the 1,000-foot cliff. This time, no werewolf cushioned his fall. The man fell from thousands of meters but remained vigorous, all because he bore the outsider's blessing. Unless he died instantly, all wounds would heal. Although he lacked the soft werewolf beneath him, he was lucky to land on a large tree. Just then, Jang Han noticed a pack of werewolves passing beneath a tree. After enduring the elves' betrayal, Jang Han, he even felt that these werewolves seemed more trustworthy, then enthusiastically leapt down without effort. Jang Han quickly took down 3 werewolves and realized that his strength and speed had increased significantly. Could it be that I leveled up without noticing? But when he pulled up the status screen, it was still the same interface, though some numbers had clearly risen. Just as he wondered what the numbers meant, a nearby god told him the higher the number, the better. Jang Han rolled his eyes, thanks for the useful info. Then he remembered he had questions for the werewolves beneath him. After all, his enemy was a powerful god. Even if he reached level 2, there was no chance to complete his revenge. But if he could master Chonjang's werewolf swordsmanship, at least his hope for revenge would increase. So he asked the werewolves how to use the sword technique, but their answer was the power of flesh. Jang Han pondered for a long time but couldn't see the connection between flesh and swordsmanship. To successfully avenge the goddess, Jang Han decided to study the power of flesh alongside the werewolves. Over the next few days, he carefully observed the werewolves' every meal and finally discovered that after eating, the power in their stomachs gradually grew. Though inefficient, this method was far simpler than Chang's use of black magic and traps to gain power. After days of feeding, the werewolves grew stronger, but the bloated werewolves began to think that Jang Han, the talking flesh, would taste better and eventually tried to eat him. Having grasped the true essence of the power of flesh, Jang Han unleashed the werewolf sword technique and instantly defeated the arrogant werewolf. Truly miraculous. That intense emotion sparked a unique chemical reaction, even stirring a deep craving for flesh within him. Yet, I don't think anyone else can wield this power, because it continuously drains Jang Han's life force. Fortunately, Jang Han's outsider blessing lets him recover instantly after the life force is consumed. Thinking this over, doesn't that make me a glitch-level existence? But the more he thought, the angrier he got. I was supposed to enjoy a happy life lying in bed playing on my phone, but now, I have to risk my life in a monster-filled consciousness realm, even hunted by those despicable natives. Soon, he returned to the outskirts of the village, ready to begin the first step of his revenge plan. Once the king of elves and the strongest fire mage, he was now captured by evil villagers, forced to watch dozens of comrades slaughtered. But even then, he refused to submit. Just now, Jang Han returned to the village for revenge, and when the patrol left for a moment, he sneaked to the city wall's edge. Looking at the towering wall, Jang Han was eager, and with the enemy's assistance, he leapt over the high wall in an instant, then began his next move. Just as a guard cheerfully exited the outhouse, Jang Han was already behind him, leaving no chance to resist, slitting his throat and dragging the body behind the outhouse. Soon, there was a pile of guards' corpses there. But Jang Han noticed something strange. Don't elves and humans all need to use the restroom? Why hadn't he seen any elves? Then, noisy voices came from afar. Curious, Jang Han looked over and saw villagers escorting a group of bound elves who were then locked in the dungeon. Huang Mo shouted, "Never let these elves go, or our home will be invaded again." They shouted about our fallen comrades, and in Chang's name, stabbed the elves in the chest. The dungeon quickly filled with the elves' wails. Soon, dozens of elves lay in pools of blood. Only one elf, Sarah, remained awaiting judgment. But since Sarah held a high status, they hesitated to strike. Then Sarah spoke. "I understand your feelings, but you killed our savior just to keep your secret." At that, Huang Mo said, "If you keep this secret, we'll let you go." Even the guards added, "Even if you lie for now, we'll release you." But Sarah refused to compromise. "As an elf, I will never lie." Seeing this, the bald man immediately raised his sword. It's time to give Sarah a proper reckoning. Just as Sarah was prepared to face death bravely, the bald man slipped up and broke off the fight prematurely. As expected, Den Sograce arrived at the dungeon just in time. Who would have thought that this elf, the strongest fire summoner, would end up imprisoned in the dungeon? Moments ago, Den Sograce arrived just in time to rescue Sarah. "Since it's you, we meet again. But right now, I should deal with these villagers first. Whether the elves who betrayed me or the villagers chasing me for no reason, I intended to kill them all from the start." At this moment, a villager begged Den Sograce for mercy. Though Den Sograce understood his pleas, it was already too late. With a wave of his hand, he slashed the man down. Another woman trying to escape was instantly pierced through the head by Den Sograce's precise ice magic. This revenge mission went surprisingly smoothly. Taking out that big guy first was a wise choice. Sarah then tried to communicate with Den Sograce, but he couldn't understand her at all. Seeing this, Sarah revealed her status frenzy. "Was he showing this to me on purpose? I only have one blessing, yet he has three, and all are high level, with the highest being domination. The chance to tame high-level beasts increases greatly, but he must have shown me this for another reason to tell me his name is Sarah." The elf immediately beamed and nodded at Den Sograce. Driven by revenge, Den Sograce suddenly felt a flicker of emotion. At that moment, the god beside him angrily warned Den Sograce, "You're an outsider, a proud lone wolf." Den Sograce sighed, I know. If I'm no longer an outsider, I'll face terrible punishment." Looking at the pitiful Sarah before him, Den Sograce, who had planned to kill all the villagers and elves, hesitated briefly and then abandoned his plan. "If I really kill him, how am I different from these mercenaries? You're saved. Now you just need to escape on your own." But as the battered Sarah tried to get up, she collapsed again. At the critical moment, Den Sograce caught her, quickly leading the elf out of the dungeon. The village was unusually quiet. When Den Sograce asked the god if he knew the reason, the god frowned and refused to answer. "Fine. It looks like only sending this elf away and calm his anger." The scene shifted as the two swiftly moved through the forest. Then Sarah tugged at Den So-Grace's sleeve, signaling him to look up at the sky. There, a blazing fire phoenix soared overhead and then landed right in front of them. Sarah gestured for Den So-Grace to set him down, then slowly approached the fire phoenix. Just as Den So-Grace thought Sarah was leaving with the phoenix, she suddenly turned back, thanked Den So-Grace, and walked toward him. The next second, Sarah pressed her lips firmly against his. The god behind them was so shocked his jaw nearly hit the ground. Den So-Grace shyly wiped his mouth, never expecting his first kiss to be from an elf from another world. Then, Sarah mounted the fire phoenix to say farewell. Den So-Grace, we will meet again. In the blink of an eye, the fire phoenix flew away with Sarah into the distance. Meanwhile, the god proudly sat on Den So-Grace's shoulder, tugging hard at his hair. Coming back to his senses, Den So-Grace felt as if he had just woken from a dream. But the next second, both he and the god were stunned by the status frenzy that popped up. In the blessings section, besides the F-rank outsider, there was now a C-rank elf blessing. Though he was just a level 1 weakling, he gained the elf's favor and received a high-level divine blessing. Even the experienced god swordmaster was stunned by this scene. Manhwa, as a friend of the elves, your lifespan has increased, and all buffs you receive from elves will be greatly amplified. Sounds similar to the outsider effect. So that means I can use werewolf swordsmanship, and my burning vitality has increased a lot. But the god behind him was clearly unhappy about the elf's blessing. You're way too excited about this. The real reason I'm happy is because that elf is gone. The god immediately brightened up. Seeing things settled, Den So-Grace decided to explore deeper into the forest. The scene shifted to Den So-Grace taking down thousands of werewolves along the way. During the battles, Den So-Grace constantly checked his status window and noticed a new level 1 butcher curse added. But worse, he gained a huge amount of experience, yet was still stuck at level 1. I knew the damn goddess's curse would make leveling up tough, but I didn't expect the experience loss to be this severe. It's actually this severe thousands of level 6 werewolves experience still isn't enough for me to level up. By the way, what does this new curse mean? The butcher effect intimidates friendly races with killing intent, increasing their chances of opposing your slaughter. Well, now I've truly become an outsider. At that moment, the sound of werewolf footsteps came from afar. A pack of werewolves rushed over, ready to avenge their kin. I didn't expect so many werewolves nearby. It seems they've realized that numbers alone won't win the day. Each werewolf is a master swordsman. The next moment, they charged at me. But I'm glad to have so many sword masters come looking for me personally. Thanks to you all, I've learned to wield this power skillfully. So to show my gratitude, I'll try to make my strikes swift. Soon, Jang Han had gathered a huge amount of energy, but he couldn't sell any of it due to the language barrier. I desperately need a translator. Is there no clever werewolf who can disguise as a human? Just then, a man with horns on his head walked by the level 1 guy. Have you seen any werewolves living here? Hearing this, Jang Han's face lit up with excitement as he grabbed the man's collar. I've searched everywhere and finally caught a wolf brother who can speak human. What's your name? I'm not a low-level werewolf, I'm a demon. This weakling actually called himself a demon. Aren't demons supposed to be powerful humanoid creatures after all? That damn goddess summoned us here for the purpose of officially defeating the demon king, right? Yet even the goddess has to ask others for help. The demon must be extremely powerful. The demon, as if its sore spot had been hit, cursed angrily. You bastard. Not all demons are that strong. I'm really sorry, but you are indeed just a little weak. Because I have the blessing of a god, you've got some nerve you think I'm blind? Because I have the blessing of the gods. You really are thick-skinned, do you think I'm blind? You really are thick-skinned, do you think I'm blind? You've got more curses than blessings. You can actually see my status? Of course I can. Nothing escapes this demon's eye of mine. He's the feared hell demon who fled because he didn't want to become the old witch's 6th husband. The stronger the demon, the more partners they have. Just now, Jang Han easily grabbed the demon by the neck. The demon explained he left his homeland to find true love. I was marriageable age before you even started nursing. The gods behind Jang Han eagerly urged him to keep questioning. Jang Han looked at him expectantly. Actually, it's to find true love. By the time you were still nursing, I was already at the age to marry. The demon asked confusedly, how are you still able to move freely? For a moment, Jang Han was puzzled. What are you talking about? The demon secretly used a paralysis potion while speaking, a dose strong enough to knock out a group of half-orcs. This scene reminded Jang Han of the despicable Chanjang. The demon's move hit Jang Han's nerve perfectly. You bastard, how do you want to die? His expression darkened as he clenched the demon's collar. Power gathered slowly in his leg. With a raised leg, he delivered a precise, brutal strike to the demon. After a scream, the demon's action precisely hit Jang Han's sore spot. You bastard, how do you want to die? Then his expression darkened as he grabbed the demon by the collar, his legs slowly gathering strength. Jang Han grabbed him angrily. "So you're the mastermind who almost killed me." The demon painfully knelt down. "So who's the real demon here?" Jang Han smiled more devilishly than the demon. He stepped forward. "Do you want to keep getting beaten or just obey me?" An old man doomed to die from an elf's curse, so I saved him. As soon as the words fell, Jang Han seized him in anger. "So it was you, the mastermind, who nearly got me killed." Before long, the demon collapsed to the ground in pain. "So who's the real demon here?" Jang Han revealed a smile more demonic than the demon's own. He walked over. "Do you want to keep getting beaten, or do you choose to behave and listen to me? If you don't want to die, then take me to the nearest human city. The powerful Seunyo lives in the closest one. I don't want to die before getting married. How about we head to the second closest city? I heard the goddess's lackey is there." Jang Han readily agreed to the demon's idea. They walked through the night, and only then did Jang Han remember to ask the demon's name. It turned out he was the 23rd child of the 348th wife of the 14th demon king. His name was Mos. Unlike human society, which values status, there was no hierarchy in hell. In short, you're just a nameless, worthless little demon. Mos immediately felt very dejected. An old friend gave me the nickname Mos, but later, he became the 425th wife of the 7th demon king. I didn't even get a chance to congratulate him before he had his first child. Listening to Mos ramble about the past, Jang Han noticed something strange. Gods always opposed me acting alongside elves or humans, but this time, the gods showed no objection to him traveling with a demon. Just then, Mos looked down in surprise as a giant footprint appeared on the ground ahead. The man was a useless loser who couldn't level up. I thought it was the goddess's curse, causing him to gain less experience, but it turned out to be an outsider's blessing that prevented him from leveling up. Just now, Mos discovered orc footprints nearby. It seemed half orcs were around, so we'd soon leave this forest. The scene shifted. Looking out over the vast plains, Jang Han eagerly awaited the half-orcs' arrival. "Not sure if we could communicate with them," Mos warned. "Half-orcs aren't the same kind as the werewolves we met before." Meanwhile, Jang Han looked down and saw a group of half-orcs actually taming animals. Suddenly, a burly man caught the scent of humans nearby. His companion agreed, saying today would be a feast, and they noticed Jang Han on the hillside. Mos panicked. "It's your fault. Those glowing red eyes make you too obvious at night." But Jang Han remained calm, quietly signaling the number of orcs below. There were 10 orcs in total. These guys looked pretty relaxed. Ignoring Moses' warnings, Jang Han jumped down. "Maybe we can have a proper talk." Yet the orcs showed no interest in talking. "Skinny pig, hand over your money and surrender." Jang Han immediately shot back. "Who are you calling a skinny pig?" "I'm human." The orcs looked puzzled. A skinny pig that can speak orcish? Then they burst out laughing. "And a clever skinny pig who speaks orcish too." Jang Han sighed in disappointment. "Just another bunch of uncivilized barbarians." He gripped the dagger at his waist. "You green fat pigs, hand over everything now." Before the orcs could react, Jang Han stabbed one through the chest. The orcs around were stunned, jaws dropping to the ground. "Now let's see who the real beast pigs are." Soon all the half-orcs around lay on the ground. Jang Han muttered, "Weren't half-orcs supposed to be much stronger than werewolves?" As Jang Han wiped the blood away, Mos suddenly screamed in pain. The demon Mos's lower body burst into white life flames. "What's happening to you? This looks dangerous." Mos, drenched in sweat, looked up at the sky where a shining white celestial dragon soared beneath the blue sky. Soaring beneath the blue sky, Mos explained, "This is Seonyo's mount. When the dragon passed through here, dead or hopeless, what terrible luck to encounter one of the world's only 2 Seonyo. I need time to rest before my lower body recovers. Whether it's death or hopelessness, what bad luck to actually run into the world's. You think I want to be carried by you? If anyone finds out a demon is being carried by a human, I'll never get married. By the way, are you really human?" "Not only human, I almost became a hero." Mos was shocked. "Your status box carries the hero's curse, which usually targets demons." "Hey, are you really human? I'm not only human, I nearly became a hero." "So how did you get so strong? Could it be because of your outsider's blessing?" When a demon loses to a hero, it's struck with the hero's curse. Because of the curse, leveling up becomes extremely difficult. Revenge is basically impossible. So how did you become so powerful? Could it be because of the outsider's blessing? Over the years, I've seen countless blessings, but I've never heard of this outsider's blessing. Resetting all statuses, doesn't that mean everything returns to square one? So no matter how much experience you gain, your status resets back to 0. That's probably the real reason you can't level up. Then how did you become so strong? Jang Han silently glanced at the god behind him, who sighed softly in response. The man unexpectedly received a god's blessing. but it carried unimaginable side effects because of this effect. It resets all statuses except death. Not only does it wipe the gained experience, preventing leveling up, but even normal physiological responses are reset. Just now, Jang Han looked at Cheonsen in confusion, but the god sighed silently without answering. The next day, Jang Han continued walking toward the city, clearing a large group of orcs along the way. Suddenly, the sound of a carriage echoed from afar. Dozens of orcs were chasing a merchant caravan. Should Moss intervene and save them? But Jang Han, having learned from past experiences, no longer trusts others so easily. Let's just watch for now. At least I can avenge them later. What seemed like an orc massacre suddenly changed as Hua Yon stepped off the carriage, flames blazing fiercely in her hands. She immediately coordinated with Jiamsa to launch an attack, swiftly reaching above the orcs. Explosions roared where they clashed. Is this the legendary mage? What a pity. Aren't you upset that innocent humans survive? Jang Han rubbed his head and said, I was just thinking I lost the chance to avenge them. Such a shame. These people seem to be the elite of this world. It would be wise to build good relations with them. Then, Jang Han took a deep breath and shouted loudly, There are plenty of very tasty humans here. Moss stared in disbelief, asking what Jang Han was doing. Luckily, only orcs understand my language. Just wait and watch the show. From afar came the thunderous sound of thousands of charging orcs. Over 1,000 orcs rushed toward them. The humans under siege broke into cold sweat, and Hua Yon looked puzzled by the situation. The battle's tide instantly turned. Jang Han drew his dagger and said, It's my turn now. These humans look pretty good. Maybe I should have come a bit later. The orcs, bewildered by the sudden stranger, asked, What's that skinny pig doing? Jang Han looked up and replied, I'm just passing through, taking down you green-skinned fat pigs. Moments later, Jang Han eliminated all nearby orcs, taking down you green-skinned fat pigs. Moments later, Jang Han eliminated all nearby orcs. The two girls watched in stunned silence. The Byongsa in the group expressed their gratitude, and thanks to Moses' teachings, Jang Han had learned a few words and could barely understand that they were thanking him. Out of helplessness, Moss acted as translator, introducing Jang Han. Hua Yun questioned Jang Han about the hero's curse. Indeed, he was cursed as a hero, but he also possessed a C-rank elf blessing, a symbol of trust. Even humans marrying elves only receive a level 1 blessing. Hua Yon felt deeply sorry for doubting her savior, while Jang Han was overjoyed to have earned the natives' trust. Hua Yon apologized sincerely, and Jang Han was thrilled to finally gain the trust of the natives. Seeing this, Cheonsen was unhappy and rolled behind Jang Han. Then Jang Han's words calmed the god. He comforted the god. A god wouldn't mock someone who's laying a plan. This isn't your fault. Under this outsider's blessing, all of Jang Han's statuses continuously reset. The only way to fix this side effect is one thing. The entire class of 33 was summoned to another world, but Jang Han only wanted to return to his warm home. Although the goddess agreed to his request, she ultimately sent him into a pile of monsters. Just now, a group of students was summoned to this world by the goddess. The chosen warriors, the evil great demon king, is about to revive, and this world is falling into crisis. Therefore, we need the help of heroes. The students still found it hard to believe everything before their eyes. One student was the first to ask, Is this place like a video game with stages or levels? The skill status window and the monsters the goddess gave a confirming answer, followed by a series of questions from the classmates. The goddess answered their doubts one by one, telling them that everyone's abilities were different. Moreover, only those recognized by the gods of this world and blessed by them can become true heroes. At the same time, we cannot contact our original world now, and only after defeating the Demon King can one wish be granted. Any more questions? At that moment, Jang Han slowly raised his left hand and said, Please send me back to Earth. I think I was clear earlier you can only have your wish granted after defeating the Demon King. But I don't want to be a hero, nor do I want to save some other world, a world filled with countless lives. This world is facing destruction. Don't you have even a shred of mercy? Sorry, I don't want my family to worry. Then the goddess stepped forward and asked, If anyone else doesn't want to be a hero like him, please step forward. I won't force anyone. However, please step forward, I won't force anyone. However, in the end, only Jang Han stood before the teleportation gate. Mr. Jang, it seems you're not fit to be a hero. I will send you away from here. Without looking back, Jang Han walked into the deep teleportation gate. But when he opened his eyes again, he found himself in a dense forest with the footsteps of wild beasts behind him. Jang Han looked back, hopefully, only to see 3 ferocious half-orcs. Damn that goddess, she tricked me. This is definitely not Earth. Meanwhile, a sacred light descended upon the temple, and Jang Han's classmates were all teleported there. The god's trial was about to begin. Elsewhere, Jang Han was dodging monsters' relentless pursuit. That damn goddess dared to play me. He clearly had no intention of sending me back to Earth. If this really is a magical world, then maybe some artifact exists here. The next moment, his status panel appeared before his eyes, and Jang Han quickly checked it. No blessing, cursed status. Languages of races hostile to heroes will be automatically translated. Experience gained from hunting and achievements is significantly reduced, damn it. She even cursed my upgrade window. Exhausted from the half-orc's frenzied chase, Jang Han felt utterly worn out. Damn that goddess, don't give me a chance. Just then, an arrow struck Jang Han's shoulder with precision. What's going on? Then, a group of elves armed with bows appeared, and the half-orcs stepped forward to negotiate with them. Seizing the opportunity, Jang Han struggled to move his body, trying to escape. Moments later, he hid behind a large tree. Should I pray to the gods? This is all that damn goddess's fault. Even if I die, I refuse to pray to so-called gods. Just as he was ready to accept death calmly, a prompt appeared. A god is watching you. Though he didn't understand, his body honestly begged the deity for help. The god asked why he was alone. Jang Han was about to blurt out. It's all that goddess's fault, but reconsidered. What if they were in cahoots? That would be the end of him. So he immediately pleaded for the god to save him first. But the god refused, saying gods don't aid strangers. Are all these gods outsiders? This puzzled the god. What is an outsider? Explaining outsider isn't exactly flattering. If cursed by another god, I'm truly doomed. Then an idea struck. Outsider means a lone wolf roaming the wilderness. The god liked the term very much, and Jang Han sighed in relief. He had just barely gotten through. He quickly seized the moment to ask the god for help, but the god asked, "Are you an outsider too? I am an outsider as well. That's why we were both summoned here alone." The god then pondered whether to aid this outsider while recalling his own sorrowful past. Raising his left hand high, the god decided to help the poor outsider. A healing holy light shot toward Jang Han. The sword wound on his knee instantly dissolved, and Jang Han felt all pain vanish completely. Looks like this guy really is a god. Watching Jang Han move freely, the god felt very proud. At that moment, the status bar displayed the outsider blessing. The outsider resets all statuses except death. If the lone wolf leaves the wilderness, terrible things will happen. So, if I'm no longer an outsider, I won't receive this blessing? The god clearly stated he only helps outsiders. At that moment, the orcs spotted the hiding lunch, Jang Han, and immediately closed in. Conflicted about the meaning of being an outsider, Jang Han began to run. Under the god's blessing, Jang Han felt no fatigue, and even wounds healed instantly. Just when he thought he could escape with this, he found no path ahead. Facing a bottomless cliff, it was obvious that jumping meant certain death, but behind him, a pack of hungry orcs relentlessly pursued. What should he do now? In this critical moment, an idea struck him. Turning to the orcs, he said, "There's hardly enough meat on me for all of you. How about this? Whoever catches me first, I'll let them feast on the tastiest buenian." The simple-minded orcs immediately charged like a swarm. Jang Han grabbed the nearest orc, kicked off with both feet, and fell backward, taking the orcs down with him. Throughout the fall, Jang Han laughed uncontrollably. The orcs all thought he lost his mind. With a thunderous crash, they landed at the cliff's bottom. Opening his eyes, Jang Han found he was, indeed, still alive. Thanks to the outsider's effect, as long as he didn't die instantly, he healed immediately. Even the god admired his bravery. But then, a barely alive orc raised its weapon, aiming to kill Jang Han. This dying werewolf also had a status bar above its head, showing it was a level 3 blue moon. Its high level was probably why it hadn't died. Jang Han picked up a sharp stone, figuring that killing an enemy above his level would grant more experience. Meanwhile, Seonyo was instructing classmates on leveling up, explaining two methods: gaining experience by killing creatures with status bars, or receiving blessings from the god to level up. Someone asked, "Does the god watch over us all the time?" Seonyo answered affirmatively, "But the god isn't human, so don't judge him by human standards." Some male gods agreed, even saying they were like air, unnoticed and indifferent. Does this mean gods pay attention only to those they find interesting? The deity praised this idea. The next moment, he received the god's blessing, name Jang Mi, level 1, an S rank. Charm blessing without any drawbacks. A captivating aura radiated from him, and nearby classmates of the opposite sex instantly turned into love-struck followers. Seonyo urged him to stop using the skill, but it was already too late. A goddess expressed her displeasure, and Jang Mi's status bar showed a curse penalty. All damage you receive will increase significantly. Every impure act will trigger a terrible punishment, Seonyo explained. Once you receive a curse or blessing, it stays with you unless you die. Even a light touch made Jang Mi howl in pain. Nearby, Gongju encouraged him not to give up. Curses can be offset by blessings, and the pain eases as levels rise. The scene shifted. Jang Han had defeated the level 3 Blue Moon, yet his level hadn't increased at all. Was this due to the curse, or does leveling require massive experience? The god nearby refused to comment. As he searched for a way out, the sound of orcs hunting for food came from ahead. Those damned orcs just wouldn't give up. Their noses sniffed the air and immediately caught Jang Han's scent nearby. Hiding behind a tree, he quietly observed the werewolves' movements, then glanced at the vines above. Using the dagger and stone he had just acquired, he fashioned a headpiece. I'm going to show these man-eating monsters the power of science. By continuously spinning the rope, I can generate tremendous impact. Although with my strength, I can only maintain it for 5 seconds at most. Under this powerful outsider's blessing, as long as I avoid fatal wounds, I'll heal instantly. In other words, I can keep fighting on the edge of death. Suddenly, a stone struck Jang Han's head, and the werewolves seized the chance to pounce. But the next second, Jang Han beat them until they fled in panic. Soon, all the werewolves lay defeated, and even the god praised him. At that moment, a surviving werewolf told me where the humans lived. Facing such a brutal Jang Han, the werewolf immediately confessed and pointed into the distance. Jang Han then gave him a swift end. That's when Jang Han noticed, although he had killed so many monsters, his level hadn't changed at all. As he pondered the reason, voices of humans suddenly came from nearby. Jang Han searched toward the sound and saw 2 men. Jang Han wanted to explain he wasn't a threat, but realized they couldn't communicate due to the language barrier. So, he made a shocking decision. He raised both hands and knelt on the ground, showing he meant no harm. Even if we can't speak, universal body language should get the message across. After a brief exchange among the 3, Manhwa suddenly grabbed Jang Han, ready to attack. Wait, no, I really am a good guy. The scene shifted as Jang Han followed the 3 men toward the village. Soon, they saw smoke rising in the distance. Just as he thought he could finally leave the forest, a group of vicious beastmen charged from behind. But with the help of powerful allies, they quickly took them down. Then, a silver Nang Wang suddenly appeared and attacked the archer. Sword-wielding Jang Han immediately stepped in to block the strike. The desperate Nang Wang extended its claw, aiming to crush Jang Han's head. Jang Han dodged instantly and took the chance to stab the Nang Wang's head. It collapsed peacefully to the ground. Thanks to you this time, or I'd be in real trouble. But what greeted him next was a teammate's blade. Jang Han was stabbed in the chest and collapsed heavily in front of his allies. This damned guy almost ruined our plan. Luckily, Nang Wang's sudden attack revealed just how dangerous he really was. He looked like a weakling, but was incredibly skilled. If we'd let him live, our original plan would have surely failed. Indeed, someone like him wouldn't agree to be sold as a slave. But the weapon he used looked like a valuable item. Then Huang Mo stepped forward to take Jang Han's weapon. But at that moment, Jang Han's status window appeared before Huang Mo, and only the living have that. The next second, a dagger sliced through Huang Mo's neck. You bastards, just wait to die. Moments ago, Jang Han had slain Huang Mo on the spot, terrifying the 2 men before him. They suspected he was an immortal demon. Before a Jushi Ho could attack, Jang Han closed in and instantly slit his throat. Then another swordsman shot Jang Han, but he said, "You can't kill me," and strode toward Manhwa. Manhwa kept apologizing. "I was wrong. Please spare me." Ungrateful Manhwa, didn't you expect this outcome when you backstabbed me? Now you regret it too late. But Manhwa couldn't understand a word this stranger said. The scene shifted. The man had changed into Manhwa's clothes. Though they fit well, they still felt a bit uncomfortable. The god behind him laughed, saying he respects personal tastes. "This isn't just a preference. You're the only one of the 3 whose build matches mine. The other 2 wear heavy armor not suitable for me, but this bow suits me just right." Jang Han recalled Manhwa's status window popping up just before his death. Though not a hero, he bore a god's blessing. Is receiving a god's blessing common in this world? The god told Jang Han this wasn't something he needed to worry about. Have you decided where to go next? After a moment's thought, Jang Han decided to stick to the original plan and head to the human village. The scene shifted. Jang Han arrived at the village. Though he couldn't understand the guard's language, money opened all doors. Luckily, he still had a large bag of gold from previous loot. He found a place to take a good bath. But then someone knocked on the door, demanding Jang Han open it. Due to the goddess's curse, Jang Han could only communicate with hostile races. Whoever was outside couldn't be a friend, elf, werewolf, or human he didn't know. Jang Han quickly dressed and prepared for battle. Carefully, he opened the door and motioned for the visitor to come in. The visitor claimed to be the village chief, saying they heard a traveler speaking an unfamiliar language had arrived and came to check it out. Jang Han found the name unique and froze. This guy could see my information. If you don't want to be seen, you should hide your status window. Then, with disappointment, he said, I thought you were an elf, but clearly you're a stranger. This village has a bitter grudge with the elves. The elves greedily drove all the werewolves out of the forest, which led to werewolf invasions on the mountain village, causing countless villagers to perish. One last question. The paralysis potion was slipped into your dinner. Why haven't you shown any reaction yet? Upon hearing this, Jang Han immediately grabbed his pen and quickly moved toward Changjiang's seat. But the next moment, his whole body went limp and collapsed where he stood. This was an ultra-powerful potion I specially prepared for the elves. You're not at fault. It's just your luck that's bad. Soon, Jang Han was taken to the dungeon. People only know about the awakened werewolves, but in truth, werewolves are victims too. The greedy elves are our true enemies. He was once a homeless street wanderer, and now he's a merciless dark sorcerer, all because he was cursed by the goddess. Just moments ago, after angrily pointing out the elves' crimes, Changjiang revealed the curse he bears. As the elves' mortal enemy, your life will be drastically shortened. That's why he wants to sacrifice Jang Han. This piqued Changjiang's interest in Jang Han's dagger. Where did you get that? Looking at the dying elves behind Changjiang, Jang Han refuses to share the same fate. This was the spoils I found after killing an elf. In a way, we share a common enemy, but Changjiang had no intention of letting him go. You've already seen my condition. Even a madman should know I'm a dark sorcerer. Jang Han looked surprised. If you hadn't said it, I wouldn't have guessed. With a wave of his hand, Changjiang made an elf girl collapse to the ground. Raising a candle, he prepared for the sacrificial ritual. The elf's curse constantly eats away at my life, but I can extend it through these sacrifices. As a reward for killing an elf, I'll let you die without pain. Well, I appreciate your generosity, but I have one last thing to say. I'm eager to hear your final words. What do you want to say? No one has acknowledged your efforts for so many years. You must feel lonely. So you can understand me, right? Of course. After all, I'm an outsider. You said outsiders act alone like lone wolves. That makes me an outsider too. What a great day, finally. Someone who understands my grand mission. But I'm an outsider, so I must keep being a lonely wolf. Then an elf was placed into a county-level magic array. As Changjiang slowly activated the array, the elf's life vanished instantly, turning to black ash. Jang Han noticed Changjiang's appearance hadn't changed much. Changjiang explained he sacrificed elves not to gain life, then tore open his chest. There, on his chest, was a wolf's head. That's right. My goal in sacrificing elves is to gain the power of the wolf, a fusion of two races filled with hatred for the elves. Soon, I will use my human intelligence and wolf physique to exact revenge. I am a true outsider. Thanks to you, I now understand what an outsider is, so I will make good use of your life. Then Changjiang activated the dark magic array beneath Jang Han's feet. Comrade Jang Han, surrender your life to me. At that moment, Jang Han realized the dark magic required a unified sacrifice. Even if he refused, he couldn't escape Changjiang's grasp. Thinking quickly, he said, "Before I die, I have one last request." Changjiang looked impatient. "What else do you want?" "I want to see Misa one last time before I die." "Misa? You mean the mercenary hired by Gongnu? Why do you want to see him?" "Because I am his lover." Changjiang grabbed Jang Han's collar. "Stop talking nonsense. There's nothing in this village I don't know. You think I don't know that Huang Mo is Misa's lover? Your information is outdated. If you don't believe me, smell the scent on me. Yes, the scent you smell is truly Misa's." After a moment's thought, he agreed to Jang Han's request. "If you survive the sacrifice, I'll let you see Misa." The next second, the magic array blazed brightly, draining Jang Han's life rapidly. Yet, inside the array, Jang Han didn't die. He even absorbed all of Changjiang's power. Just now, Jang Han reluctantly agreed to Changjiang's request, but once the array activated, under the outsider's blessing, Jang Han completely overcame his enemy. Before Changjiang could react, Jang Han's fist shattered his teeth. Changjiang clutched his jaw in pain. "You dare to deceive me?" Staring at the unscathed Jang Han, Changjiang was shocked. "How could you survive after being hit by dark magic?" "That's naturally thanks to the god's blessing, which reset my condition. Since I lived, you must keep your promise and let me go." Then, carrying an elf captive, he rushed toward the gate. But Changjiang clearly didn't want to keep his word. "As long as I release the life force I took from you, this contract will be nullified." Streams of life energy returned to Jang Han's body. Just as Changjiang thought he had succeeded, his own life kept draining until he became a white-haired old man. Then it ended. "Are you some kind of immortal vampire? No one can lose so much life and still come out unscathed." Jang Han said, "That's naturally because I'm an outsider." Just as Jang Han was about to leave, the wolf head on Changjiang's chest began to roar, "I'll beat you into a pulp." Red energy streams gathered on Changjiang's palm, then charged fiercely at Jang Han. In an instant, Jang Han's chest was slashed open. This power was called the werewolf sword technique. I intended to use it against the powerful elves. But before I could finish, the wolf head was stunned by what it saw. Jang Han's wound healed instantly. Exhausted and defeated, Chang was easily taken down by Jang Han in full victory. Then Jang Han freed all the imprisoned elves and called the villagers over. Just as he thought it was over, mocking laughter came from behind. Slowly turning, Jang Han saw a group of villagers glaring viciously. He thought they came to send him off, but the scene shifted. Jang Han was once again pushed to the edge of a cliff by the villagers. Whatever the elves told them, he was cornered with no way out and had to jump off the sheer cliff. This time, no werewolf cushioned his fall. Falling from a cliff, thousands of meters high but still alive and kicking, this was thanks to the outsider's blessing. As long as he didn't die immediately, all injuries would heal. Although no soft werewolf broke his fall, he was lucky to land on a large tree. At that moment, Jang Han noticed a pack of werewolves passing beneath the tree. After the elves' betrayal, he oddly found them more trustworthy. He eagerly jumped down and effortlessly took down 3 werewolves. He also noticed his strength and speed had increased significantly. Could it be that I leveled up without noticing? But when he checked his status window, the level remained the same. However, the stats had clearly increased. As he wondered what the numbers meant, a god beside him said, "The higher, the better." Jang Han rolled his eyes. "Thanks for the helpful info." Then he remembered he had questions for the werewolves. His enemy was a powerful god. No matter if he reached level 2, revenge was impossible. If he could master Chang's werewolf sword technique, at least his chances of revenge would improve. So, he asked how the werewolves used the sword technique. The werewolf replied, "The power of flesh." Puzzled about the connection between flesh and swordsmanship, Jang Han decided to study this power of flesh closely to successfully take revenge on the goddess. Over the following days, Jang Han carefully observed the werewolves feasting. He finally realized that after feasting, the werewolves' inner strength slowly grew. Though slow, this was far easier than Chang's method of using dark magic traps for power. During these meals, the werewolves also grew stronger. But the bloated werewolves began to see Jang Han the talking flesh as a tastier meal. In the end, they tried to eat him. Awakening the true power of flesh, Jang Han unleashed the werewolf sword technique and swiftly defeated the arrogant werewolf. It was incredible, a special chemical reaction ignited from intense emotion, even stirring a deep craving for flesh. Yet, I doubt anyone else could wield this power because it drains Jang Han's life force. Fortunately, the outsider's blessing immediately restores him after the drain. Thinking like this, I'm basically a game-breaking anomaly. But the more I think, the angrier I get. I should be living a comfortable life, lying in bed playing on my phone, not risking my life in a monster-infested consciousness realm, hunted by hostile natives. Soon, he returned to the village outskirts, ready to start his first step of revenge. Once the elven king and most powerful fire mage, he was now captured by evil villagers, forced to watch dozens of his kin slaughtered. Yet even then, he refused to bow. Just now, to avenge himself, Jang Han returned to the village. Seizing a moment when the patrol left, he sneaked to the city wall. Eyeing the towering barrier, he was eager to climb. With an enemy's aid, he leapt over the high wall and began his next plan. As a guard happily stepped out of the outhouse, Jang Han silently crept behind and slit his throat without giving a chance to resist. He dragged the body behind the outhouse. Soon, more guards' corpses piled up here. But Jang Han noticed something odd. Don't elves and humans both need to use the restroom? Why hadn't he seen a single elf? Then, noisy chatter came from afar. Jang Han looked curiously and saw villagers escorting a group of bound elves. Later, inside the dungeon, Huang Mo shouted, "We can't let these elves escape, or our home will be invaded again." They shouted about comrades who sacrificed for them. Chang stabbed an elf's chest, filling the dungeon with their screams. Within moments, dozens of elves lay in pools of blood. Only one elf, Sarah, remained, awaiting judgment. But due to Sarah's high status, no one dared strike. Sarah spoke up. "I understand your feelings, but you killed our savior just to keep your secret." Huang Mo relented. "As long as you keep this secret, we'll let you go. Even the wardens proposed, 'Lie for now if you must, and we'll free you.' Yet Sarah refused to compromise. 'As an elf, I will never lie.' Seeing this, a bald brute raised his sword to give Sarah a quick death. Just as Sarah prepared to die honorably, the bald man clumsily missed. As expected, Jang Han arrived just in time in the dungeon. "It's you. We meet again. But now, I should handle these villagers first. Whether it's the elves who betrayed me or the villagers who chased me for no reason, I've intended to kill them all from the start." A villager begged Jang Han for mercy. Though he understood the plea, it was too late. A wave of his hand ended the man's life. Another woman tried to flee but was precisely frozen through the head by Jang Han. This revenge mission went surprisingly smoothly. Starting by taking out this big guy was a smart move. Then Sarah tried to communicate with Jang Han, but he couldn't understand a word. Seeing this, Sarah revealed his status frenzy. Was he deliberately showing this to me? I only had one blessing, but he actually possessed 3 blessings, all at high levels. The highest was taming, which greatly increases the chance to tame high-level animals. But showing me this must have another purpose. He wants to tell me your name is Sarah. The elf immediately beamed with a smile and nodded at Jang Han. Jang Han, driven by his thirst for revenge, felt a flicker of emotion. At that moment, the god beside him warned angrily, "You're an outsider, a proud lone wolf." Jang Han sighed. I know. If I stop being an outsider, terrifying things will happen." Looking at the pitiful Sarah before him, Jang Han hesitated for a moment. He had planned to kill all the elves, but he gave up. If he really killed Sarah, how would he be any different from these mercenaries? "You're saved. Now, escape on your own." Just as the battered Sarah tried to stand, he collapsed forward. At the critical moment, Jang Han caught him. Soon, Jang Han led the elf out of the dungeon. The village was unusually quiet. When Jang Han tried to ask the god if he knew the reason, the god frowned and said he didn't want to talk to him. "Fine, it seems only by sending this elf away can I calm this guy's anger." The scene shifted, the two swiftly moved through the forest. Sarah tugged on Jang Han's sleeve and pointed to the sky. A blazing phoenix flew overhead, then descended right in front of them. Sarah gestured for Jang Han to put him down, then slowly walked toward the phoenix. Just as Jang Han thought Sarah would leave with the phoenix, Sarah suddenly turned back, thanking Jang Han as he approached. The next moment, Sarah pressed a finger firmly against his lips. The god behind them almost dropped his jaw, while Jang Han shyly wiped his mouth, stunned that his first kiss was from an elf from another world. Then Sarah mounted the phoenix and said goodbye. "Jang Han, we will meet again." In the blink of an eye, the fire phoenix carried Sarah off into the distance. Meanwhile, the god arrogantly sat on Jang Han's neck, viciously pulling his hair. Coming back to himself, Jang Han felt like he had just dreamt it all. But the next second, both he and the god behind him were stunned by the sudden pop-up status window. In the blessings section, besides the F-rank outsider, there was now a C-rank elf blessing. As a friend of elves, your lifespan has increased, and all buffs received from elves are greatly amplified. It sounded similar to the outsider's effect. So that means I can use werewolf swordsmanship, and my burning life has increased a lot. But the god behind him was annoyed by the elf's blessing. "You're way too happy about this. Actually, the real reason I'm happy is because that elf left." Qianxin immediately felt much better. With things settling down, Jang Han decided to continue exploring deeper into the forest. The scene shifted. Jang Han had slain over 1,000 werewolves along the way. While fighting, he constantly checked his status window and noticed a new level 1 butcher curse had appeared. What was worse, he gained massive experience but remained stuck at level 1. Although I knew the damn goddess's curse would make leveling up difficult, I didn't expect the experience reduction to be this severe. Even thousands of level 6 werewolves aren't enough to level up. What does this new curse mean? The butcher effect intimidates friendly races with killing intent, increasing their chances of opposing your slaughter. Great, now I'm truly an outsider. Suddenly, the sound of werewolf footsteps came from afar. A pack of werewolves appeared, seeking revenge for their brethren. I hadn't realized there were so many werewolves left nearby. It seemed they realized that numbers alone weren't enough. Each werewolf was a master swordsman. The next moment, the werewolves charged. But I'm glad so many sword masters came to find me. Thanks to you, I've mastered this power. So to thank you, I'll try to be quick. Before long, Jang Han had gathered a large amount of energy, but he couldn't sell these items due to the language barrier. I urgently need a translator. Isn't there a clever werewolf who can disguise as a human? Just then, a man with horns on his head walked over. "Hey, have you seen any werewolves living around here?" Hearing this, Jang Han's face lit up. He grabbed the man's collar instantly. "I've searched everywhere and finally found a werewolf who speaks human language. Brother, what's your name?" "I'm not a low-level werewolf. I'm a demon." "That weak guy could be a demon? Aren't demons supposed to be powerful humanoid creatures? After all, didn't that damn goddess summon us specifically to defeat the Demon King? Even the goddess asks others for help. Demons must be incredibly strong." The demon seemed to be struck in a sore spot. "You bastard, not all demons are powerful. Sorry to disappoint you, but you're really a bit pathetic. You're the strange one. It's just one episode, yet you possess incredible power." Jang Han smiled and replied, "That's because I have the blessing of the gods." "You've got some nerve. Do you think I'm blind? Your curses outweigh your blessings. You can actually see my condition? Of course. Nothing escapes my demon eye. By the way, I've used so many paralysis potions. Why haven't you reacted yet?" He's a hell demon feared by all, but he fled hell to avoid becoming the 106th husband of the old witch. The stronger a demon is, the more partners he gets. Just now, Jang Han easily grabbed the demon's neck. The demon explained that he left his homeland, searching for true love. I was marriageable age when you were still nursing. The god behind Wenyan excitedly urged Jang Han to press further. Jang Han looked at him eagerly. So, brother, why haven't you married yet? Wouldn't it be miserable if you died a virgin? Then the opening scene played out. Jang Han looked at the pitiful demon with sympathy, but the demon asked suspiciously, "How are you still able to move freely?" For a moment, Jang Han was puzzled. "What are you talking about?" The demon secretly used a paralysis potion while speaking enough to take down a whole group of half-orcs. This triggered Jang Han's rage, reminding him of the despicable Chanjang. "You bastard, how do you want to die?" His face darkened as he clenched the demon's collar. Power slowly gathered in his leg before a swift kick landed precisely on the demon. After a painful scream, Jang Han stared down at the demon. "What's your secret connection to Chanjang?" "I've seen many Chanjangs." "Which one?" "The one with a wolf's head on his chest. When I met him, he was a miserable old man dying from an elf's curse, so I saved him." No sooner had he finished speaking than Jang Han furiously grabbed him. "So you're the mastermind who almost killed me." Soon the demon fell to his knees in pain. "So who's really the demon here?" Jang Han wore a smile more devilish than the demon's as he approached. "Do you want to keep getting beaten, or do you want to behave? If you don't want to die, take me to the nearest human city. The powerful Seonyo lives there. I don't want to die before getting married. How about we go to the second closest city? I heard the goddess's lackey is there." Jang Han agreed with the demon's suggestion. Night fell before Jang Han remembered to ask the demon's name. He was Mose, the 23rd child of the 348th wife of the 14th Demon King. Unlike human society's focus on status, hell had no rank distinctions. In short, he was a nobody, a nameless minor demon with nothing. Maz was deeply dejected. "An old friend gave me the nickname Maz, but he later became the 425th wife of the 7th Demon King. I didn't even get to congratulate him before he had his first child." Listening to Mose's nostalgic rambling, Jang Han noticed something strange. The god always opposed me traveling with elves or humans, but this time there was no objection to him journeying with a demon. Suddenly, Mose looked down in surprise. A giant footprint appeared on the ground, half-orcs nearby. "Looks like we're about to leave this forest." The scene shifted to a vast plain. Jang Han eagerly awaited the half-orcs' arrival, wondering if he could communicate with them. Moss warned, "Half-orcs aren't on the same level as the wolves we met before." At the same time, Jang Han looked down and saw a group of half-orcs tending to animals. Suddenly, a big man smelled human presence nearby. His companions agreed, "Tonight's feast is on." They then noticed Jang Han on the hillside. Moss panicked, "It's your fault. Those glowing red eyes stand out way too much at night." But Jang Han was unfazed. He quietly counted the beasts below. "There are 10 in total. These orcs look pretty relaxed." Ignoring Moses' warnings, he jumped down. "Maybe we can have a good talk." But the orcs showed no interest in talking. "Skinny pig, hand over your money and surrender." Jang Han immediately retorted, "Who are you calling a skinny pig? I am human." The thin man looked puzzled. A skinny pig actually speaks the language of the thin people. He suddenly burst out laughing. This skinny pig is smart enough to speak the language of the thin people. Jang Han sighed in disappointment. Another bunch of barbarians who can't communicate. Then he gripped the dagger at his waist. "You green fat pigs, hand over all your valuables now." Before the orcs could react, Jang Han had already pierced one in the chest. The surrounding orcs were so shocked their jaws nearly hit the ground. Now let's see who the real Beast Pig Island. Soon, the surrounding half-orcs lay sprawled on the ground. Jang Han's strike, didn't they say? Beast orcs are much stronger than werewolves? As Jang Han wiped the blood away, Ma suddenly let out a continuous scream. The lower half of the demon most suddenly burned with a white light. "What's going on? That looks dangerous." Moss looked up at the sky, where a shimmering white celestial dragon soared beneath the blue heavens. Moss explained, "That's Seonyo's mount. The dragon sensed my demonic aura as it passed by and precisely attacked me. Fortunately, it didn't keep attacking me. Whether I live or die, I'm incredibly unlucky to have encountered one of the only 2 Seonyo in the world. I need some time to rest before my lower body recovers." Reluctantly, Jang Han had no choice but to carry Moss on his back and keep moving. It felt worse than carrying a pile of dung. "You think I want to be carried by you? If anyone finds out a demon is being carried by a human, I'll never get married in my life. By the way, are you really human?" "I'm not only human, I almost became a hero." Upon hearing this, Moss was shocked. Your status bar carries the hero's curse, which is usually a curse aimed at demons. When a demon loses to a hero, it receives the hero's curse. Because of this curse, leveling up becomes extremely difficult, making revenge nearly impossible. "So how did you become so strong? Could it be because of this outsider's blessing?" "Over the years, I've seen countless blessings, but I've never heard of an outsider's blessing. This blessing resets all status. Doesn't that mean everything goes back to square one? No matter how much experience you gain, your status resets. That's probably why you can't level up." But how did you get so strong? Jang Han quietly glanced at the god behind him, who sighed at the same time. A man unexpectedly receiving a god's blessing, yet suffering unimaginable side effects. This effect resets all status except death. Not only does experience reset, preventing leveling, but even normal physiological reactions get reset. Just now, Jang Han looked at Qinsin with confusion, but the god silently sighed without replying. The next day, Jang Han continued walking toward the city, taking down a large group of half-orcs along the way. Suddenly, the sound of galloping horses came from afar. Several dozen half-orcs were chasing a caravan. Moss asked, "Are you going to step in and save them?" But Jang Han, having learned from past experiences, no longer trusted others so easily. "Let's watch first. At least I can avenge them later." What seemed like a half-orc massacre quickly changed when a woman named Hua Yun stepped out of the carriage, flames blazing in her hand. Together with Jiamza beside her, they launched an attack, instantly appearing above the half-orcs. Explosions roared from the battlefield. Is this what a magician looks like? What a pity. Aren't you glad innocent humans survived? Jang Han scratched his head. I was thinking about how I lost the chance to avenge them. What a shame. These people look like the elite of this world. Building good relations with them should be a wise choice. Then Jang Han took a deep breath and shouted loudly, "There are many delicious humans here." Maz looked at Jang Han in disbelief. "What are you doing?" "Luckily, only half-orcs understand my language. Just wait and watch the show." From afar came the thunder of thousands of galloping hooves over 1,000 beast orcs rushing this way. The humans under attack broke out in cold sweat. Hua Yun was also very confused by the sudden turn of events on the battlefield. Then Jang Han drew his dagger. "Now it's my turn to step in. These humans look pretty good. Maybe I should have come a little later." Seeing the stranger who suddenly appeared nearby, the orc impersonator looked dumbfounded. "What's this skinny pig up to?" Jang Han looked up and replied, "I'm just passing through, might as well beat down you green-skinned fat pigs while I'm at it." Moments later, Jang Han had already dealt with all the orc impersonators around him. The two girls stared in shock at the scene, and even the Byongsa in the group expressed their gratitude. During this time, under Mose's guidance, Jang Han learned a few words and could barely understand that these people seemed to be thanking him. With no other choice, Mos took on the role of translator and introduced Jang Han. At that moment, Hua Yun questioned Jang Han about why he bore the hero's curse. Indeed, he was cursed by a hero, but he also carried a C-rank elf blessing, a true symbol of trust. Keep in mind, even a human-elf marriage only grants a first-level blessing at most. Hua Yun deeply regretted questioning her savior earlier, while Jang Han was overjoyed to have finally earned the natives' good fortune. But seeing this, Chanson was displeased and immediately began beating a drum behind Jang Han. Then, a single sentence from Jang Han calmed the deity and even comforted him. "The gods don't mock those who strategize. This isn't your fault." With this outsider's blessing, all of Jang Han's stats would constantly reset, and there was only one way to solve this side effect. Despite 9 years of compulsory education, Jang Han couldn't even write his own name because, though summoned by a goddess from another world, he was simultaneously cursed by her. Just now, Jang Han successfully sneaked into the human city with the team when an older man asked why his level was only 1 despite his formidable strength. Moss advised Jang Han to ignore the question. Mercenaries have thick skins when it comes to getting stronger, but directly asking someone how they improved is very rude. Plus, because of their mercenary blessing, they often fight fiercely to gain experience by completing missions. However, this comment caught Jang Han's attention. Completing missions grants experience, he thought, then checked his curse panel. It only mentioned that experience from hunting and achievements would be drastically reduced. It made no mention of mercenary earned experience being limited. Moss looked at the startled Jang Han, utterly puzzled. "What are you doing?" The reply came from Jang Han, smiling. "Tell me, how do I become a mercenary?" Soon, Moss took Jang Han into the city, but Jang Han looked constipated. "Why does the air smell like rotten garbage?" Moss replied. "All sorts of merchants come here. It's normal that people can't bathe on the road. Besides, you have no right to complain your half-orc blood reeks beyond description. If you don't want to get kicked out of the mercenary club, better hit the inn and wash up first." Jang Han couldn't believe it and sniffed his clothes. Is it really that bad? Seeing this, even the deity behind him pinched his nose. After freshening up, Jang Han went to the mercenary club, but about to become a mercenary, he was drenched in sweat, never expecting the hardest part would be signing his own name. Staring at the contract covered in scribbles, Jang Han didn't know where to start. He wished he had learned how to write his name first. The customer service rep smiled expectantly at Jang Han, hoping he'd sign quickly. Just as he fretted, Moss comforted him. "No need to be embarrassed. Many mercenaries here can't write their own names either." Then thoughtfully, Moss handed Jang Han the written form of his name. "Copy this." Sounds simple, Jang Han thought, but maybe because of the hero's curse, even copying is really hard now. 10 minutes later, Jang Han finally finished signing his name. Looking at the crooked characters, Moss couldn't help but laugh. Never met anyone this clever before. As Jang Han handed over the contract, a new blessing instantly appeared before him, the Empire-registered mercenary blessing, starting at the Lycan level ground rank. You should really thank those two ladies. They vouched for your ability with their own reputations. Then they handed him a mission notice, a quest to conquer orcs, with rewards depending on how many orc noses he brought back. Sounds fantastic. This should break the goddess's curse, right? Though he was a level 1 nobody, he could single-handedly kill over 1,000 orc impersonators. But when he became a feared orc hunter, he had no idea that word of his survival had already reached Seonyo. Just moments ago, Jang Han received his first mercenary mission. He and 2 teammates entered the orc territory, and 2.5 hours later, the 2 teammates decided they couldn't hold Jang Han back and pushed on to keep fighting. Another 2 hours passed. The teammates were trembling from exhaustion, but Jang Han kept slaughtering orcs relentlessly. Finally, the silver-haired girl couldn't hold back and shouted, "Let's take a break. Honestly, you've wiped out every orc in this area." Yet not a single bead of sweat appeared on Jang Han. Mr. Jang is truly astonishing. He has an indescribable talent. Lisa, since you're a summoner, you might not notice this, but his swordsmanship is wild, extremely dangerous. One small mistake could shatter his entire body, yet he keeps using this style. Suddenly, Jang Han pulled out a children's picture dictionary and began studying it word by word. For some reason, only certain phrases were pronounced correctly. As the two discussed this, Jang Han finished skimming the book, then turned to them and, using the words he just learned, said, "Brothers should rest well. EU, keep fighting." Lisa and the other exchanged silent glances. "Didn't we just rest a moment ago?" The scene shifts to Seonyo inside the goddess's temple. A subordinate reports, "We found this backpack in the wild." Looking at the school supplies and books spread on the table, Seonyo concludes, "These definitely aren't from around here." The subordinate then reveals where it was found. It was in the werewolf forest where the heroes train. Right now, only the commander and I know about this bag. How likely is it that the commander reported this to Wangja? As soon as I found it, the commander ordered me to report to you immediately. Well done. I promise you'll have the honor of releasing the mysterious scriptures here for life. The guard looked baffled. Shouldn't I be following the general into battle? You want me to live here forever? Or do you want a glorious death? The guard promptly replied, I vow to serve the gods for life. Seonyo then picked up the badge from the table and said, within 3 days, I want all information on this person. She immediately confirmed this, then reported to the hunter village in the forest about a major murder. According to the villagers, the killer was the spirit of the deceased outsider. You mean, this must also be the work of a hero from another world. So it's not a vengeful spirit. Instead, he survived and took revenge. Send someone to sketch the outsider's portrait immediately. The scene shifts to Jang Han, worn out after a full day, escaping the fire. Suddenly, intense footsteps came from the distant grass, waking his sleeping teammates. A group of mercenaries emerged from the grass, hand over all the spoils from killing the orcs. The man was clearly a level 1 weakling, yet he defeated hundreds of high-level mercenaries. Still, his level remained stuck at 1. Just now, Jang Han was surrounded by enemies. A group of mercenaries stepped out from the grass, holding torches and spears. The leader arrogantly threatened, hand over all your valuables and surrender quietly. Jang Han, who only knew broken otherworldly language, was momentarily confused. What is this guy saying? But his arrogant gestures and expression were crystal clear. This bastard looked like he was asking for a beating. Since being summoned to this world, not a single day has been normal. Nearby, Moss was shocked by Jang Han's blazing fury. I hope you damn fools get a better hand next life. Then, cautious of overdoing it, Jang Han took a deep breath and shouted in orc language, there's plenty of delicious food here. Seeing this strange scene, the enemy immediately launched an attack. But to battle-hardened Jang Han, their arrows were nothing but a minor annoyance. He kicked the leader hard. Just as his minions watched in horror, a large green hand grabbed the leader's head. A group of burly orcs appeared behind them. They then began crushing the mercenaries in a relentless battle. Watching the two enemy groups clash, it's time for me to take the stage. Jang Han moved expertly through the battlefield, while their boss shockingly rose, clutching his wounds. Jang Han greeted him with a smile, then called his men to launch a pincer attack on Jang Han. Just as he prepared to counterattack their leader suddenly, he circled around to the rear and shot an arrow the moment Jang Han wasn't paying attention. When the enemy's face twisted into a triumphant smirk, Jang Han stood still without a flicker of movement. You actually ruined my favorite dongmeng. Then came a black tiger heart piercer, piercing straight through the enemy's chest. The scene instantly fell silent. The image shifted, showing Jang Han returning to the mercenary club carrying a large bag full of half-orc noses, while everyone around him wore expressions of disbelief. But Jang Han looked regretful. If it weren't for these two ladies, I could have brought back even more. Moss rolled her eyes. Are you even speaking human? They're practically exhausted, and you say stuff like that. Then Jang Han handed over the proof of mission completion to the two ladies, who happily accepted it. Thanks to you and me, our tribe leveled up twice during this hunt. Even Moss, who was already level 20, gained a level. Jang Han was thrilled. Even such a mediocre demon leveled up, surely my level must have increased a lot too. Jang Han's eyes suddenly widened in shock as he stared at his status panel, which still showed him at level 1. He looked up at the sky in despair. What on earth is wrong with this world? Behind him, the god pretended to know nothing, gazing off into the distance, afraid Jang Han would uncover his secret. He was once a towering, revered deity, but had become a reviled outcast hunted by all. He had saved countless lives, only to be hated by those he rescued. Born before the origin of all things, the god's existence was soon discovered by the continent's life forms, who began praying for his aid. Through his help, they found meaning in their existence. But as time passed, more gods appeared, each assisting life in their own way, even competing with one another. Depending on the blessings received, beings evolved in different ways. Then, endless conflicts arose over territory and faith, with countless lives perishing in the wars. One day, a Byongsa faced imminent death from battle. Suddenly, a divine prompt appeared before him. Do you want to live? Without hesitation, Byongsa answered yes. After all, who wants to die? The god immediately restored all his statuses. The next moment, Byongsa transformed into a baby. The god stared thoughtfully at the wailing infant, then turned and left, heading to two elders, requesting they go to the western caves. Thus, just as Byongsa had begged, the god saved him. The god took pride in this outcome. 10 years later, he visited the man he had saved. The boy immediately asked if he was the god who had saved him. The god happily confirmed it, but the boy began trembling uncontrollably, then angrily cursed, I curse you, god. Because you turned me into a baby, my lover was taken from me. The god was startled. But you only asked to live back then, the god apologized. Yet the boy relentlessly demanded the god take responsibility for his life. The god left amid the curses, pondering what he had done wrong. But he still couldn't understand where he went wrong. Later, he helped several others, yet without exception, he received nothing but hatred. He never understood why. So he wearily came to the edge of the world, sitting there for hundreds of years. Meanwhile, the outside world rapidly changed, and more beings came to see gods as tools. In response, the god gathered all deities to create new rules. The world would have levels, blessings, curses, and so forth. All gods adapted to the new system except him. One day, he found another Byongsa frozen in place. After hesitation, the god asked if he wanted to live. The man, just like before, didn't hesitate to express his will to survive. Not wanting to repeat past mistakes, the god warned, you will lose everything. The man answered without hesitation, better than dying. The god smiled for the first time in ages. As the god bestowed the blessing on Byongsa, he thought, this world still needs me. The healed Byongsa relished the joy of survival, but his expression froze the next moment he had dropped from level 38 to level 1. The god said, I told you the price you must pay. The man quickly regained confidence. As long as I'm alive, I can start again from level 1. The god admired his spirit, but soon despair fully consumed him, because no matter how he grouped up to fight monsters, his level remained stuck at 1. His teammates, including his girlfriend, all chose to leave him. The god silently watched this scene. The man was sensible and held no resentment or dissatisfaction toward the god. Instead, he offered a piece of advice. Stop blessing anyone. It's even worse than taking a life. This completely crushed the god's desire to keep saving others. Feeling unwanted, he silently drifted into slumber, until one day he once again saw someone on the brink of. Seeing this boy cursed with the hero's mark, the god curiously chose to save him, even changing the name of the blessing for him. But if he knew the truth, he would surely resent me. Now, the god felt that Jang Han must have already discovered the secret of the blessing. Just as the god prepared to accept Jang Han's reproach, Jang Han suddenly muttered to himself, as if enlightened. The effect is clear, it resets all statuses. I actually wasted time gaining experience. Seeing this, the god asked curiously if Jang Han was angry. Jang Han turned and said, I should have known this outcome long ago. Fine, let's go buy some picture books you like. The god silently prayed. Jang Han's expression darkened. Are you praying for my dead soul? The god frowned. Of course not. It's a secret I can't reveal. The scene shifted, and Jang Han arrived at the largest library in town. Since I can't level up, at least I need to find a legendary weapon to boost my power. Strategically, he said this. Nearby, most advised him not to indulge in wishful thinking. Such weapons were long confiscated by higher authorities, and even the noble girl from before claimed she had never seen such an item. But Jang Han remained determined. Could there be a dangerous relic so forbidding that excavation is impossible? Sounds tempting, doesn't it? However, Moss's words extinguished his enthusiasm again. The entrances to those ruins are usually guarded by the kingdom's high-ranking knights. How powerful are these knights? Moss replied. Far stronger than you. Soon, Jang Han returned to the grasslands to continue his exploration, hoping the freshness of the outside world. Is there really no way other than killing the knights? Just then, an orcish voice called from behind. Skinny pig, hand over all your valuables, you green-skinned fat pig. You really have to bother me when I'm already frustrated. Hearing this, the orc flew into a rage, swinging a 10-meter-long greatsword. Jang Han countered with a black tiger heart strike, then sat atop the green-skinned fat pig. Do you know what it feels like when your world collapses? While fighting, he said, are there really no undiscovered ruins in this world? At that moment, the half-orc quickly claimed he knew of a secret ruin unknown to anyone. Jang Han immediately stopped his fists. Stop hitting me, I really know of a ruin nearby. There's a massive half-orc ruin. Half doubtful, Jang Han jumped down from the half-orc's back, then kindly extended his hand. Friend, I think you'd be happy to tell me about this ruin. Then he kindly reached out his hand. My friend, I think you'd be more than happy to tell me about this ruin. Down the path toward the ruin. I can guide you, but someone as powerful as you, a human, can't enter. The ruin lies just ahead. Yet Jang Han saw only endless plains with no sign of the ruin. Then, a smoky ancient ruin gradually appeared before his eyes. Just as the half-orc thought he had finally shaken off the nuisance, Jang Han marveled behind him. I've never seen such a massive city before. The half-orc's eyes nearly popped out. This is the half-orc's sacred land. Only those below level 9 can enter. Jang Han scratched his head awkwardly. That's probably because I'm only level 1. No sooner had he spoken than countless sword arrows shot toward Jang Han. From the city, no sooner had the words fallen than countless sword arrows shot toward Jang Han. In that instant, before the white-haired orc could warn, Lady, Jang Han has already dealt with him. Now let's see who's really weak. Jang Han dashed rapidly into the half-orc crowd. Though just a level 1 nobody, he single-handedly defeated millions of half-orcs. He then charged swiftly from his spot toward the orc horde. Though clearly just a level 1 good-for-nothing, he single-handedly wiped out 1,000,000 orcs. He could even stand as the guardian deity facing off against the orcs. Just moments ago, as soon as Jang Han entered Season 1, he was attacked by the half-beasts. Jang Han immediately launched a counterattack. The scene shifted to a group of half-beasts searching for signs of the intruder. Those damn beast pigs, we must avenge our fallen comrades. They then headed toward a suspicious area. Jang Han, hiding in the back, looked exhausted. There are way too many of these half-beasts here. I've been killing from dawn till dusk, yet more keep coming. Feels like I'm just running in circles. I think I'm lost. Just then, 2 half-beasts spotted Jang Han from the other side of a wall. Immediately, a large wave of half-beasts swarmed in. Facing the relentless horde, Jang Han had had enough. You disgusting creatures, now it's my turn to show you a thing or two. The green-skinned fat pigs blocking the entrance froze. What's that skinny pig planning? Suddenly, a fierce blast echoed. Then, Jang Han was seated atop a mountain of half-beast corpses. He then pulled up his status panel, eager to see if anything had changed. Under the Curse tab, a new Earth-level slaughter appeared. The souls of the slain would haunt your dreams, until they either reached Nirvana or surrendered. These half-beasts really are restless spirits. Luckily, I don't need to sleep, but why are my curses increasing? At that moment, 2 humans, kept captive here, approached. However, Jang Han's broken foreign language couldn't decipher their words. Next, he needed to find a way out of this ruin, so he turned his gaze to the still barely alive hand-wearer. Why do I always end up back where I started no matter how far I go? The city's entrance and exit are unusual. The city center is the only exit, so that's Howard Island. No wonder I kept circling. He then headed toward the city center, soon arriving at the so-called center. But why was it so empty here? Did I need some spell to open a portal? No sooner had he spoken than a dazzling pillar of light descended on the central altar, and a burly half-beast appeared, immediately shouting, "You're the human who mercilessly slaughtered my tribe." This guy's flashy entrance made him look fierce. At this moment, Sahoja repeated the earlier question with a harsh tone. That's right, it's me. I warned these half-beasts, but they wouldn't listen. Is that the only reason you killed 300,000 half-beasts? Hearing this, Jang Han suddenly understood. So it was 300,000 half-beasts. No wonder it took me so long. I am the Suhoja of this ruin. I won't let a single human escape. You say you're a Suhoja? Jang Han set down his backpack, his expression lighting up with excitement. Suhoja usually meant a huge treasure for the kill. Saying that, he charged at Suhoja. Jang Han focused all his energy into one sword strike, confronting the half-beast Suhoja head-on. He clearly felt the opponent's level far exceeded that of ordinary half-beasts and soon grew exhausted. The next moment, his arm and the enemy's were both severed. Everything should have ended there. Then, Jang Han endured a massive energy blast head-on. Just as he was about to collapse completely, Jang Han flashed back to the starting point. The ruined Suhoja was stunned by this. You actually dodged that fatal strike in an instant. Jang Han dodged back to his starting point in a flash. The Guardian of the Ruins was stunned by this move. You actually managed in that instant. He was about to deliver a killing blow to end Jang Han's life. But what happened next shocked Suhoja. Jang Han's eye and arm grew back. The man had severed his own arm, but the tendons reformed the next second, all because he was blessed by the gods. Suhoja, fighting Jang Han, stared in disbelief. Are you immortal? Is that why you dared to storm this half-beast ruin alone? But none of that matters. I will trap you in this city until you rot away. Hearing this, Jang Han was taken aback. Doesn't this guy have anything better to do? The scene shifted, and the two battled for 300 rounds. Watching Jang Han vanish repeatedly in clouds of dust, how much longer do you plan to keep struggling? Watching Jang Han being swallowed by the dust again and again, he sneered. Just how much longer are you going to keep struggling? You actually ask me how much longer? Of course, it's until I kill you, you green-skinned pig. The two immediately resumed their fierce confrontation. As expected, Jang Han was once again sent flying by his opponent. After this defeat, Jang Han stopped fighting in vain and began studying his enemy's moves on the ground, hoping to find a weakness. Before long, dawn arrived. Looking over the night's work on the dirt, Jang Han fell into deep thought. I think I figured something out. He then closed his eyes and concentrated, gripping his pen tightly. Then, just like Suhoja possessed him yesterday, Jang Han unleashed the exact same move. Even the gods watching covered their mouths in shock. I trained all day yesterday to master this. Do you think it can stand up to Suhoja? Wen Yan Shen was stunned. You're seriously twisted. After all those beatings and spying on his swordsmanship for so long, there really was some payoff. At that moment, Jang Han's status bar popped up automatically, showing that his hard training had finally paid off. His F-rank outsider blessing had leveled up to rank 1. Jang Han eagerly started flattering the gods. But the next second, Jang Han suffered like he'd endured 82 years of torment. His rank 1 hero's curse also rose to C rank. My hero's curse increasing only means one thing. The goddess has noticed me. She knows I'm still alive. Looks like we need to hurry and take down that beast poser Suhoja. Soon, Jang Han arrived again in the city center. Are you here to die again, human? Or will you run away like last time? This time, I won't run. Then come on up. I can show you the relics, Jang Han said as he climbed the steps. Did you set a trap up there? Do you think a great warrior like me would rely on traps to defeat you? Jang Han pondered briefly. He can't leave the ruins, so he wants to lure me in and kill me. Perfect. Then he followed Suhoja inside. Suhoja slowly said, this was once a training ground for heroes. Training heroes for beast posers? That species wasn't chosen by the gods, so we had no heroes. But when humans left, we took over. They left these blessed relics behind. Saying that, Suhoja began wildly swinging his weapon. This will be your grave. Jang Han interrupted him. I have something to say. What is it? After they left, they did leave legendary weapons here. Deep in the ruins, these are ambush weapons meant for rookie heroes. Jang Han was dumbfounded. Am I supposed to face the goddess in battle wielding rookie weapons, even without thinking? At level 1 like me with rookie gear, what end awaits me? Enough talk. Now it's my turn to avenge my beast, poser comrades. The two instantly clashed head-on. Jang Han fought while retreating toward the exit. Seeing this, Suhoja intensified his attack, swinging his trident fiercely at Jang Han. Jang Han seized the opening. Since you can't leave, I'll send you off. He kicked hard, sending Suhoja flying straight toward the ruins' teleport gate. Suhoja disappeared into the ruins, a scene that left even the gods dumbfounded. Jang Han took advantage of the situation and acted innocent. It'd be better if we could solve this peacefully. Now it's time to search for the treasures here. The god excitedly pointed toward the distant ruins. You mean there's treasure that way? The level 1 man effortlessly lifted the legendary relic, but the next second, the holy sword grew unbearably heavy. The sword sensed he was a cursed hero and, angered, Jang Han smashed it with a punch. Embracing the spirit of, if I can't have it, I'll destroy it, Jang Han threw all the holy swords aside, then broke those that refused to submit, leaving a pile of legendary relic shards. Just as Jang Han was about to break the sword in his hand, he realized swinging this one was effortless. The god told him it must be defective, which is why it hadn't sensed his hero's curse. Hearing this, Jang Han pondered briefly, then destroyed the remaining holy swords. This one in my hand is now the only one, so it's no longer defective. Even the gods were stunned by this move. The next second, Jang Han's status window reappeared before him, revealing a new level 1 holy sword under the curse section. The curse enraged Jang Han so much he wanted to tear the status window apart. He couldn't believe it. Just for breaking a few sword tails, he was cursed with the creator's blood and tears by the holy sword. This will make all the holy swords around you stronger, greatly increasing the difficulty to destroy or seal an innocent holy sword. This curse doesn't look bad. Does that mean the defective sword inside my holy sword also benefits from this curse? The god silently shook his head, pitying the creator. This holy sword will become the strongest sacred artifact. Then Jang Han prepared to leave the beastman's ruin. As he pondered how to open the exit portal, a voice of dissent came from behind. Suhoja suddenly appeared from nowhere, rushing toward the altar. But Jang Han noticed something different. The beastman's fangs were missing several teeth. His expression had aged significantly. Jang Han spread his hands at the altar entrance, leaving the sacred artifact's domain. Suhoja quickly charged in front of Jang Han. Now it was time to test this holy sword. This time, Suhoja was felled by a single strike. Blood poured from his left hand. Your arm has been severed. Suhoja quickly relied on his regeneration ability, recovering swiftly. Jang Han seized the moment and fired an arrow. The arrow decapitated Suhoja, leaving only a headless corpse. A whole day passed. No progress at all? Seems your regeneration is only average. Just then, Suhoja's head suddenly began growing wildly. Just as he was about to fully recover, Jang Han grabbed his head. If I throw him out, he should die for good. He prepared to toss Suhoja out of the altar. Suddenly, Suhoja burst into tears. Just don't throw me out of the altar. I'll do anything for you. Anything? What can you do for me? I can temporarily move the ruin's entrance and exit near the holy sword. Jang Han considered briefly and gladly agreed to Suhoja's request, opening a temporary path for him. Then Jang Han pointed outside the altar and ordered Suhoja to release the humans who had wandered in and let them leave. Suhoja reluctantly agreed. Though this ruin must never be discovered by humans, I have no choice now. Jang Han shouted to the villagers, anyone who wants to leave, get on now. But the villagers hesitated, and only 3 chose to leave the ruin. Jang Han sighed. These guys have stayed here so long, they've actually grown attached to this place. Soon, Suhoja opened the portal to leave the ruin. Jang Han recalled some bad memories and doubted if the outside was safe, so he flattered the god, please have mercy on this loyal follower. For your sincerity, I'll go in and check it out. After confirming the outside was safe, Jang Han asked before leaving, how can I return here? Just speak to the holy sword and I will hear your command. After repeated confirmation from the god, Jang Han finally relaxed and stepped toward the portal. The moment he touched it, a brilliant flash of light appeared. Jang Han appeared in an unfamiliar room. Thank heavens, this isn't the dragon's heart, nor the depths of the earth. But where exactly is this? It looks like a noble's chamber. Jang Han noticed the weapons and armor on the wall and immediately took a battle stance. Questioning the god, you said this place was safe? The god replied, yes, it's safe for now. You mean it'll be dangerous soon? The god praised Jang Han's perfect understanding. Then I better leave quickly. But what happened next? Made Jang Han stop in his tracks. A backpack sat in the corner. The man had casually entered a portal, which surprisingly led to Seonyo's chamber, where he also unexpectedly found his own backpack in the corner. Meanwhile, Seonyo came to the dungeon searching for Jang Han, but the place had long been cleaned by villagers. No trace remained of the hundreds of elves once imprisoned here. The new Chanjiang immediately knelt and begged Seonyo's forgiveness. Although it sparked a civil war between humans and elves, it's unforgivable, but since the victim has already forgiven the matter, I won't hold you responsible. But what does the person who rescued the elf look like? I want to commend his actions. Chanjiang hurriedly recalled, that person looks very much like the heroes who visited today. Hearing this, Seonyo casually found an excuse to dismiss Chanjiang. That must be the hero cursed by the goddess. But how did he survive? Could he have received the blessing of the gods? Even so, how could a level 1 novice possibly defeat a pack of werewolves? Keep in mind, even our carefully trained heroes suffer heavy losses against werewolves. Besides, who would bless him? All the gods live together with us in the temple, if saving the ninja. For now, the heroes remain under our control. The deity Seonyo worships also felt a rising anxiety. Don't worry, our secret won't be uncovered so soon. Everyone who knew the name Jang Han is already dead. In the blink of an eye, Jang Han had returned to the inn. Damn those beastmen, I really want to punch him for sending me to such a dangerous place. The noise drew Muzz out. You're back just in time. I was planning to leave here yesterday. But unfortunately, a powerful human arrived in the city, so I can't show myself for now. You're not saying Seonyo came here, are you? Not Seonyo, but Prince Arik of the Night Kingdom. He's the #1 knight in this kingdom. Jang Han remained unfazed and continued packing his things. Someone told me the prince is looking for you. So what if he is? Jang Han began undressing without a care. Moss gritted his teeth angrily. If you meet him, don't reveal any of my information. The prince is blessed by Sinyo. If he finds out I'm a demon, it'll be a disaster. You're saying all this like it doesn't concern me? After all, I can't communicate with him normally. Just then, after all, I couldn't communicate with him normally. Just then, seems like your power is quite popular? Munyan Shin immediately frowned, and Jang Han quickly explained. They must be here to ask for my help. You're too materialistic. At this rate, you'll never get married. You've been single forever. You have no right to say that. Moss immediately covered his eyes and sobbed silently. You lifelong single dog, you don't seem qualified to say that. Moss instantly covered his eyes and wept silently. How many heroes did you kill to come back like this? If I stayed with you, I probably wouldn't live to see the day we get married. Jang Han got emotional and snapped. You bastard, what do you mean? Jang Han grew agitated and shouted, You bastard, what do you mean by that? Why don't we go out for some shopping and talk? After all, the prince is looking for you. He suggested, how about we go out, walk around, and talk? After all, the prince is looking for you. The two excitedly looked at Jang Han, who appeared before the crowd with a shiny, oily face. This is seriously uncomfortable. What did these people do to me? Then they followed the two to the prince's residence. Upon meeting, the prince politely greeted Jang Han. You can actually communicate with me normally? It's a blessing of one of my languages. The prince must be able to communicate with all species. Thank you. This is one of my language blessings. The prince must be able to communicate with all species. Thank you. But the prince's next words shocked Jang Han. I'm curious, what skill did you use to slaughter the beastmen on the plains? The prince's next words shocked Jang Han. I'm curious on the plains when you slaughtered the orcs. This man is a worthless level 1, yet with just one finger, he defeated the kingdom's strongest sword saint. Right after meeting, the prince requested a duel with Jang Han. Just moments ago, the prince demanded a duel with Jang Han as soon as they met. Let's continue this conversation over dinner. Soon, Jang Han finished 10 plates of roasted meat. Sorry, I was hungry all day and ate a bit much. The prince politely said, better to finish it than waste food. I went hungry all day, so I ate a bit too much. The prince politely said, finishing it all is better than wasting food. Changing the subject, Mr. Jang, how did you get the hero's curse? You might not believe it when I tell you. It's because I punished a hero who was harassing an elf. Do you still remember what that hero looked like? Jang Han gave an awkward smile. At first, I slapped the hero in the face, so I don't really remember his appearance. Well, thank you for your contribution to maintaining friendship between humans and elves. Actually, the real reason I invited you today is that the guild reported you've recently hunted down a large number of beastmen impersonators. Those beastmen impersonators on the plains have almost vanished without a trace, as if they suddenly evaporated from the world. Do you have any information about this? It seems to be because I hunted too many beastmen, but the prince doesn't believe that. If what you say is true, I would have already wiped out half the beastmen on my own. Scene shifts, everyone gathers in the courtyard. I can't wait to see how strong you really are. Jang Han reluctantly pulled out his usual dagger, but Wangjia was shocked when he saw it. Isn't that an elf's treasure? Seeing this, Jang Han quickly sheathed the dagger. Let's not use weapons for this duel. Then he raised his index finger at Wangjia. I'll fight you with just this finger. The crowd immediately wore incredulous expressions, and Wangjia responded with a similar gesture. This skill took me years of hardship to master, but I still want to see your full strength. Here, take this spare greatsword. Wangjia arrogantly raised the weapon. You go first. Jang Han was eager to begin as well. This is the kingdom's top-tier weapon. It'd be a shame not to use my full power. He slowly lifted his greatsword. Jang Han's aura surged wildly, whipping up a gust of air. I'm about to strike. He swung, releasing that force. Trees in the area visibly shook, and a terrifying red pillar of light rose in the courtyard. Whoa, too much force. If Wangjia dies, we're done for. He turned and looked toward the exit. Without hesitation, he kicked open the door and fled straight into the forest. Meanwhile, Wangjia, who bore the full impact, slowly emerged from the dust, staring at his broken sword in disbelief. Have I wasted all these years training? Meanwhile, Xianyo returned to her room. Noticing dirty footprints on the floor, no doubt someone had broken into her bedroom. Even more shocking to Xianyo was that her backpack in the corner had been stolen. The evidence proving the goddess lied was gone. She quickly reported this major incident to the goddess. The proud goddess of mercy scolded her. You should have destroyed him sooner. Xianyo bristled. Please don't question my trust in you. Now, all we can do is leave it to fate. The goddess immediately asked if there was a way to find him. Xianyo replied, instead of asking me here, you should go find him yourself. The goddess left the disciples with a sour expression. He's a noble, high-ranking demon who willingly became a human slave. And all of this was just to prove he truly loved that man. Just now, Jang Han mistakenly thought he had killed Wangjia, hurried back to pack, and then commanded the holy sword to open a portal. Moss behind him looked shocked. When did you learn spatial magic? No time to explain. Meet me at the city's north gate. I won't wait long, so hurry up. Leaving the high-level Mo's itching with impatience, the scene shifts to Mo's, shivering in the small forest north of the city. Suddenly, Jang Han appeared behind him. Let's go quickly, but we need to decide where to go next. We can keep heading north, that way we can split up sooner. There's the largest slave market on the western continent up north. I'll find you a slave who can translate there. Then why not escape while you're at it? Why meet up with me again? It's you bastard, who took all my stuff. How could I slip away? We don't even have horses to get around. They hurried off. The knights will catch up to me soon. No sooner had he spoken than Jang Han grabbed Moss tightly. Moss's face flushed red. What are you trying to do? Put me down. Jang Han teased while running. Isn't this faster than riding a horse? They ran like that until dawn. Moss's stomach suddenly growled loudly. With no choice, Jang Han gave a command to the holy sword. The next moment, a portal opened, delivering a lavish meal and dining table. Moss finished eating, visibly surprised. After finishing his meal, Jang Han tossed his plate back into the portal. It's not as delicious as when Wangjia and I eat together, but it's still pretty good. Moss couldn't help but ask, why? I've never heard of magic for cooking or washing dishes. Jang Han stretched lazily. There are plenty of magics you haven't heard of yet. Once we're full, let's set off quickly. Stop rushing me, we're almost there. Then why didn't you say so earlier? If I'd known, we'd have eaten inside the city. Soon, the two arrived at the city, which was indeed large and thriving. Moss urged, stop acting like a bumpkin. Keep up with me and give me back my backpack while you're at it. I'm not running yet. Find me a slave who can translate, then you can leave. Jang Han then instructed the holy sword. Bring over that brown backpack at the back. Immediately, a brown backpack crawled out from the portal. Moss stared at the holy sword in disbelief, wondering what was going on. You don't seem like a magic user. Could this be a magic sword? He took the holy sword from Jang Han, wanting to examine it. It looked like an ordinary metal sword. Then, in the next moment, he was stunned by a radiant holy light emitted from the sword. Moss cursed loudly. This damn thing is actually a holy sword. You handed a holy sword to a demon? No wonder you trusted me so easily. But wait, how can a cursed hero use a holy sword? Jang Han replied, because it's a flawed relic. Hearing this, Moss suddenly understood and said, this sword is flawed, just like its owner. Jang Han immediately brandished the holy sword, threatening Moss. Say that again if you dare. The scene shifted as Jang Han followed Moss to a high-end slave market. Moss got straight to the point. We need a slave who can translate. The shopkeeper's wife looked puzzled. You don't care about level, talent, or race. Jang Han quietly told Moss it was best if the slave could travel with him. The shopkeeper's wife asked, are you serious? Do you think such a slave even exists? She translated Jang Han's request, and unexpectedly, the shopkeeper's wife readily agreed and led them to the second floor to choose. A demon slave with horns slowly appeared before them. Moses' face flushed slightly. He rarely saw demons become human slaves. Jang Han looked at Moz with an icy expression and said, you bought someone just like you? Is it because only demons can meet these conditions? Moz angrily declared he wanted to buy this slave, but found he didn't have enough gold coins in his pocket. Changing the subject, Jang Han asked why the demon became a slave. The demon answered, because I loved someone deeply, but he doubted my sincerity, so I became his slave to prove it. Jang Han asked, so, you were ultimately abandoned? A classic love story indeed. Moz, standing nearby, was moved to tears. The two looked at the sorrowful Moz in silent disbelief. Jang Han said, Master, please remove that annoying pity party. I want to rip those teary eyes out of his sockets. Jang Han ignored his joke and said, we can depart now. The demon slave asked curiously, don't you want to double-check before we leave? I already saw your status window. No need to check again. I'm Dialoka, a level 27 demon with a high-level slave blessing. Suddenly, Dialoka trembled all over. Seeing this, Jang Han quickly asked with concern what was wrong. Dialoka blushed, lifted his head excitedly, and begged Jang Han to give orders freely, because with the slave blessing, every time he disobeys his master's command, he suffers corresponding pain. At this, Moz grumbled, if you order him to do anything weird, I'll kill him. Both Jang Han and Dialoka showed looks of disdain. Jang Han and Dialoka shot disapproving glances at the love-struck Moss. Their master, order me to kill that disgusting demon. Jang Han turned silently and said, do whatever you want, just don't kill him. The scene shifted as Jang Han went out to buy a large number of supplies on the street. He gathered the supplies and opened a portal, sending all the purchase items back to Season 1. Mose, who was originally planning to part ways, appeared before Jang Han. I changed my mind and decided to join you on this adventure. No sooner had he spoken than an archer's arrow pierced Mose's head. Mose collapsed to the ground with a heavy thud. An inner demon Pushong threw herself at the man, pleading for him to command her freely. But the man demanded a battle between men, even severing Puchong's arm. Just moments ago, Mose was secretly struck down and knocked to the ground. Another arrow followed, but Jang Han and the others easily knocked it away. Who would have thought someone would try a sneak attack in broad daylight? The attacker was soon found and beaten by Jang Han. Jang Han looked around and saw more and more onlookers gathering. At that moment, the city guards arrived, drawn by the commotion. To avoid further conflict, Jang Han decided to leave with Dika and Mose. The scene shifted. Outside the city, Jang Han dropped off the pretending to be asleep Mose. Mose begrudgingly drew his sword. It's not that I'm weak, I just let my guard down for a moment and got ambushed. So you've been living completely defenseless all this time? What a weakling. Being mocked like that by the one he likes, Akmanoi, Mose suddenly felt like his heart was about to give out. Nearby, Jang Han was just about to wipe the blood off himself when suddenly Dika attacked. You think your master is easy to deal with? In response, Dika unleashed the power of Akmanoi. Jang Han gathered his strength, using his werewolf sword technique, and clashed fiercely with Dika. Dika stared in shock at his shattered palm, while Jang Han seemed pleased with the outcome of the fight. Dika asked incredulously, Jang Han, is your level really just 1? And if I'm not level 1, what then? Would you, like Mose, just make an excuse that I was careless for a moment? As soon as he finished, Dika charged again, still convinced he was facing a weak human. Then let me show you your master's true power. Saying that, he charged straight at Dika. Watch my Pegasus Meteor Fist. He unleashed a final punch with all his might, but Dika easily dodged the powerful blow. Master, it seems you've underestimated us. Jang Han showed a hint of embarrassment before Dika's palm slashed across his chest, blood gushing out instantly. Dika laughed arrogantly. This small wound is nothing to Akmanoi. Now, master, if you grant me freedom, I'll heal you right away. But Jang Han gave a careless command, stay right there. What happened next shocked Dika. Jang Han's wound visibly healed before his eyes. Are you really human? Dika said as he grew a new arm. Since we both have strong regeneration, let's see who survives till the end. Is that your order too, master? At that moment, Mose woke up shouting, Don't be afraid, Miss Dika. I'll protect you. Hearing this, both Jang Han and Dika glared at him. Mose kept flattering Dika, claiming he'd known Jang Han's combat weaknesses for a long time. Before he could finish, Jang Han jabbed his finger into Mose's head. If you know me so well, why didn't you see this move coming? What? You didn't see that move coming? Even Dika utterly despised that bootlicker Mose. As they fought fiercely, Jang Han said, Mose is just trying to flatter you. I hate traitors the most. But didn't you betray me as well? Though I am a slave, I never swore to be your slave. They collided again. Over time, Dika's healing began to lag behind his injuries. What is this guy made of? Jang Han's face lit up. He finally found a worthy opponent. Suddenly, Dika sprouted wings. Thinking he was about to fly away, Jang Han rushed in with a punch. But Dika landed on Jang Han's arm, kicked off hard, and soared into the sky. Have you heard of the falling leg strike? He then struck down at Jang Han like a sword made of leg. Jang Han immediately raised his palm to block, but what he saw made his face flush red. He seemed to glimpse something indescribable from his perspective. The next moment, a heavy blow crashed down on his head. Just before losing consciousness, he heard one phrase, the white fatty wakes up again. Holding his head, recalling the recent battle, the god behind him shouted loudly, What the hell were you doing at the crucial moment just now? At that moment, Dika approached calmly. You're gonna buy me new clothes, right, master? Jang Han refused reluctantly. But the big dog Mose immediately excitedly promised he'd get Dika a well-fitted outfit. Dika punched Mose away. Providing food, shelter, and clothes for your slaves is the master's responsibility. So Jang Han had no choice but to pull out the holy sword and retrieve a new outfit through the portal. Wearing the new clothes, Dika finally faced the truth. From the moment I failed to win by an overwhelming margin, I lost. And in the end, you clearly threw the fight. As the loser, don't you have anything to say? The next second, Dika suddenly hugged Jang Han tightly. I'll compensate you properly. I'm tired now and need to rest. I leave the rest in your hands. He was Yao Wang, who had lived for thousands of years but was once locked in a dungeon by an evil black mage because his level was a pitiful 12. Not long ago, Xiaonyo found someone had broken into her room and invited Sarah to help investigate. The room was the very crime scene. Then Sarah activated the solame in his hand, and the entire room suddenly blazed with light. Xiaonyo eagerly asked about the culprit's whereabouts. According to Sulaim's feedback, the intruder escaped through the holy sword, definitely the worst outcome. The culprit was actually a young gung. Coming back to his senses, Sionyo politely asked Sarah, "Is there anything I can help with? I'm planning to study at the Magic Academy. Ever since the dungeon incident, I've wanted to raise my level." But during hunting, Sarah realized he still couldn't accept leveling up through killing. He despised combat deeply. That's why, despite living thousands of years, he remained stuck at a low level 12. Learning at the academy could also grant experience, making it the best choice for him. So Sionyo happily agreed to Sarah's request. Meanwhile, Jang Han carried the unconscious Dika back into the city. As for the loyal Mose, he chose to leave alone in the forest, standing firm with a promise. "When I return, I'll be a powerful Akma Noi worthy of Lady Dika." The god watched Jang Han smiling widely as he carried the female Akma Noye, clenched his fist, and gritted his teeth, urging Jang Han to abandon this Akma Noye. Jang Han comforted, "She's basically our translator, just with a different gender." The god was clearly displeased by this lame excuse and angrily flew off into the distance, leaving Jang Han standing there, looking around for the god's constellation. Elsewhere, the god appeared at Sionyo's training grounds, watching their plans intently. The tournament champion will get the chance to enroll in the Magic Academy and gain a powerful holy sword. Imagining life at the Magic Academy, the god happily decided to arrange for Jang Han to study there as well. Cut to Jang Han tossing Dika onto a bed at the inn. Watching her sleep, he turned and opened his status screen. Looking closer, my outsider's blessing is still active, so the god hasn't abandoned me. Then he opened the window. The night was prime time for slave thieves. Before leaving the city, I have to settle this grudge. At that moment, the god appeared clumsily before Jang Han. "You're just in time. Want to join me for something big?" The god asked where he wanted to go. Of course, to pay a proper visit to those bastards who ambushed us. But the god asked if he'd thought about what to do afterward, then suggested Jang Han head to the Magic Academy. Jang Han's face turned serious. "Go to school at the academy? I'll decide after I deal with those thieves." The next second, the god rolled on the ground. "If you help me take revenge, I might consider your suggestion." The god's eyes glowed mysteriously. It settled then. Jang Han then bought a group of slaves as bait. Just as Jang Han was stunned, an archer attacked from afar, but Jang Han blocked the strike instantly. These children indeed caught Dojak's attention, even drawing out their leader. In the blink of an eye, a large group of accomplices appeared on the surrounding high walls. Jang Han was dumbfounded as the entire thieving gang arrived, their leader leaping down. The god impatiently urged Jang Han to finish this quickly. Jang Han instantly erupted in rage and began his slaughter. Soon, the entire gang was taken down and tied up right here. He then called the city guards, completing a bounty mission along the way. Sulaim in the city started clearing the battlefield. In the end, only one big bone remained unclaimed, immediately catching Jang Han's attention. This seemingly ordinary large bone sparked a fierce scramble. It even summoned a disaster-level Yanryong king, and all of this was under the god's control. The gods kept nagging Jang Han to hurry to the academy, extolling its benefits, but Jang Han was very reluctant. Just then, a burly geisha appeared behind Jang Han. Watching this geisha chatter away, Jang Han looked utterly confused. "I'm probably a wanted man now for attempting to assassinate a royal. Could this geisha be here to arrest me?" Shin gestured silently. This geisha planned to buy the bone as a gift for his son at the academy, once again urging Jang Han to seize this chance to go there. So Jang Han agreed to let geisha buy the bone, but with one condition. He must take him to the academy to train. Geisha was surprised to hear this, then decisively rejected Jang Han's request. No translation needed to understand the refusal. The plan failed, and the divine artifact stomped its foot in frustration. Just as Jang Han pondered this, Dika suddenly appeared, complaining that Jang Han had left her alone at the inn, then clung onto him. Geisha's face instantly turned pale. Akma Noe was boldly showing up here in broad daylight. Dika whispered, "Master, who's this geisha? Is this Akma Noe his slave?" She answered herself confidently, "Otherwise, why would I dare to show myself so boldly?" At this moment, the gods grew impatient, continuously urging Jang Han to hurry up about the academy. After a moment of thought, the gods decided they couldn't just watch any longer, and once again left Jang Han's side. Just as Jang Han prepared to continue negotiating with Geisha about the academy, a deafening roar filled the sky. He looked up, cold sweat streaming down uncontrollably. A massive scarlet Yeonryong king appeared above the city. This dragon-level disaster declared, "This time, I will wipe out all those miserable humans." But the next moment, the Yeonryong king was shocked to find that though resurrected, his level was only 1. The Yeonryong king grasped his head in disbelief and shouted angrily, "Who did this?" Seeing the level drop, Jang Han immediately understood this was obviously the work of our outsider god. The clueless Yeonryong king bellowed to the sky, "Who dares joke with my level?" Naturally suspecting Yeongung's handiwork, a fiery breath blasted from his mouth, devastating buildings within 10 miles. Seeing this, Gisa charged forward, ready to confront the Yeonryong king head-on. The gods urged Jang Han to take down the Yeonryong king quickly, even mimicking Jang Han's moves, pushing him to show off for Gisa. Now understanding the gods' intentions, Jang Han drew the legendary holy sword without hesitation. The Yeonryong king continued venting his rage. City guards raised bows and unleashed a volley of arrows, but human swords were like mere tickles to the dragon, no damage done, only fueling its fury. At the critical moment, Seongju arrived just in time, blocking the dragon's breath with a powerful sword strike. Turns out, Seongju was truly formidable. Now it's my turn. With that, Seongju leapt onto a rooftop. As the Yeonryong king swung, numerous Byongsa cried out in agony. The Yeonryong king realized his level was gradually restoring with each kill. The gods once again urged Jang Han to finish the beast quickly, but Jang Han needed more time to gather strength for a one-shot kill, so he ordered Dika to temporarily distract the Yeonryong king. The Yeonryong king eyed the approaching level 27 advanced Akma Noi and thought, perfect, more experience to level up. But Dika wasn't just any Akma Noi. She instantly unleashed her crown-like cannon, piercing through the Yeonryong king's wings and causing it to radiate scorching heat over 10,000 degrees. Dika barely held up the Akma Noi barrier to block the attack, while Jang Han continued accumulating energy, completely unfazed. The gods were furious, shouting, "What the hell are you playing at?" The next moment, the god tightly covered his mouth, afraid to disturb Jang Han. A swirling vortex of red energy gathered around the three deepened blessings of Jang Han. With a powerful kick, Jang Han charged at Yeonryong Wang. His sword sliced swiftly across Yeonryong Wang's neck. Everyone watched in awe as a victorious smile appeared on Jang Han's face. Is that all you've got? Yet Yeonryong Wang was not completely dead. A level 1 man had slain the disaster tier Yeonryong Wang with a single sword. Everyone who fought alongside received the dragon's blessing as a reward, but the one who delivered the final blow, Jang Han, was cursed with the dragon's wrath. Just moments ago, Jang Han severed Yeonryong Wang's head. In Yeonryong Wang's eyes burned unwillingness. How could a once mighty Yeonryong Wang fall to a level 1 nobody? In his final breath, he cursed Jang Han. I curse the man before me with the power of my soul's revelation. As the words fell, strands of red curse energy gathered at Jang Han's chest. Before him appeared the mark of the dragon's wrath. Trembling with rage, Jang Han shook, desperate to tear apart the window before him. Even the experienced Dika admitted he had never seen anything like this. In his memory, dragons were proud beings rarely defeated, never broken so easily. Angry, Jang Han wanted to kick awake the Yeonryong Wang. You big lizard, if you've got the guts, revive and fight again. What kind of skill is a curse? I saved at least 10,000 residents. Not only did I get no reward, I ended up with the dragon's wrath curse. When life is in danger, the enraged Yeonryong Wang will strike back. Staring at the curse, Jang Han covered his eyes, radiating a despair far worse than the curse itself. At that moment, Dika looked at the pop-up with great joy. Why are you so happy when you got cursed? Because I wasn't cursed, I actually gained a new blessing. Hearing this, Jang Han was stunned. He immediately asked to see the blessing. The moment he saw it, he froze. Though it was the dragon's wrath, Dika's was the furious dragon, a blessing that protects him when his life is in danger. Jang Han glanced at Seonju, who awkwardly turned his head away. Undeterred, Jang Han approached Seonju and asked persistently, "Are you the same?" After receiving a confirming nod, Jang Han collapsed to his knees. "Oh heavens, oh earth, why is it so unfair?" Composing himself, Jang Han smiled as he gazed at the pile of dragon scales and claws. Yet despite the treasure, he could only hand it over to exchange for a chance to enter the academy. The scene shifted. Seonju, accompanied by a dragon guardian, began patrolling the streets. Standing behind the crowd, Jang Han immediately caught Seonju's attention. After the patrol, Seonju found an opportunity to talk privately with Jang Han. Jang Han immediately had Dika translate, "I want that reward used for city repairs and to support the families of the deceased. Thanks to me and my master, you're alive. We don't want those pathetic rewards. Use them for others." After the translation, Jang Han felt something was off. Why did Seonju's expression suddenly darken? At that moment, thick mist appeared in the air. It was the punishment of the dragon's wrath curse. Seonju looked up, shocked. A massive drum tower, several meters long, appeared accompanied by flashes of lightning. It was clearly coming straight for me. This really is a fantastical world, but I easily killed a living dragon. Even the corpse of this defeated loser dares to act recklessly before me. He was once a lofty, great mystery, now reduced to a rat everyone wants to crush. He once saved countless lives, only to be hated by those he saved with his own hands. He was a deity born before the origin of all things. Life on the continent soon became aware of the gods' existence and began praying to them, hoping for their aid. Through their help, living beings realized the meaning of their existence. But as time passed, more gods appeared. Each helped life in their own way, even competing against one another. Depending on the type of blessing received from the gods, beings began evolving in different directions. Soon, endless conflicts arose over territory and faith, countless lives perishing in the chaos of war. One day, a Byongsa, facing death in the war, suddenly received a divine prompt. Do you want to live? Without hesitation, Byongsa answered yes. After all, who wants to die? The god immediately restored all his statuses. The next second, Byongsa transformed directly into an infant. The god gazed thoughtfully at the baby, wailing in despair, then turned away and approached an elderly couple, asking them to journey to a cave in the west. Just as Byongsa had originally pleaded, the god came to his aid and took great pride in this outcome. 10 years later, the god visited the man he once saved. The boy's first words were a question. Was he the one who had saved him? The god smiled warmly and confirmed it, but the boy suddenly began trembling uncontrollably. Then he burst out in curses. I curse you, God. Because of you, I was turned back into a baby and my lover was stolen from me. The god was startled, but reminded him that all he had asked for was to survive. He expressed his regret. Still, the boy relentlessly demanded the god take responsibility for his life. With curses ringing in his ears, the god quietly walked away. Along the way, the god pondered deeply where he might have gone wrong, but he couldn't grasp what had truly failed. Later, the god helped more souls. Yet without exception, he was met with hatred. He remained baffled by this. Exhausted, the god came to the edge of the world and sat in silence for 100 years. Outside, the world was changing rapidly. More and more beings saw gods as mere tools. In response, the gods gathered to establish new rules, a hierarchy for the world, blessings and curses, and so on. Every god adapted to the new order, all except him. One day, he found another Byongsa frozen in death. After a brief moment, the god asked if he wished to live. The man didn't hesitate to express his will to survive. The god, unwilling to repeat past mistakes, warned him, "You will lose everything." Without hesitation, the man replied, "That's better than dying." The god smiled a rare, long-lost smile. As he bestowed his blessing on Byongsa, he thought, "This world still needs me." Healed, Byongsa savored the joy of survival until his expression froze. He had dropped from level 38 all the way down to level 1. The god reminded him of the price he must pay. The man quickly regained his confidence. As long as I'm alive, I can start over from level 1. The god admired his spirit, but soon the man fell into utter despair. No matter how many parties he formed to fight monsters, his level remained stuck at 1. His teammates, including his girlfriend, all chose to leave him. The god watched silently. The man, wise beyond his pain, never blamed the god, but instead offered a warning. Don't bless anyone else. That's a curse worse than death. That sentence extinguished the god's desire to save others. Feeling unwanted, he fell into a silent slumber. Until one day, he saw a dying boy appear before him. Seeing the boy cursed with Yeongung, the god's curiosity stirred. He chose to save him and even rename the blessing. But if he knew the truth, he would surely hate me. Now, the god believed Jang Han had already uncovered the secret of the blessing. Just as the god braced for Jang Han's reproach, Jang Han muttered with sudden realization. The effect is clear, reset all status. I wasted so much time chasing experience. Seeing this, the god asked if Jang Han was angry. Jang Han turned and replied, I should have known this outcome long ago. All right, let's go buy some picture books you like. The god silently prayed while Jang Han's face remained calm. Are you praying for my dead soul? The god frowned. Of course not. That's a secret I can't tell. The scene shifted. Jang Han arrived at the largest local library. If I can't level up, then at least I need to find a legendary weapon to improve my strategy. Moss warned him not to get his hopes up. Such weapons have long been restricted by higher powers. Even the previous Guiho Son Yeo claimed never to have seen such an item. But Jang Han refused to give up. Could there be a dangerous relic so well hidden that excavation hasn't begun? That sounds tempting, doesn't it? Yet Moses' words again doused his enthusiasm. The entrances you're talking about are usually guarded by the nation's Gisa. How powerful is this Giza? Moss replied. Far stronger than you. Soon, Jang Han returned to the grasslands to continue his search, hoping the fresh air would bring new inspiration. Those Gisa are just iron cans, all bark and no bite. Is there really no way around them except to kill them? At that moment, a beastman's voice sounded behind him. Scrawny swine, hand over all your valuables. You green-skinned pig, how dare you disturb Munyon when I'm already frustrated? The disguised orc flew into a rage, swinging a 10-meter blade as he slashed over. But Jang Han struck him with a black tiger heart piercer, gravely wounding him. then sat on the green-skinned fat pig. Do you know what it feels like when your whole world crumbles? As he fought, he asked, is there truly no undiscovered ruin left in this world? At that moment, the orc hurriedly claimed he knew of a secret ruin unknown to anyone else. Jang Han immediately stopped his fists. Stop hitting me. I really know of a ruin, not far from here, a massive orc ruin. Jang Han cautiously jumped down from the orc, then extended his hand kindly. Friend, I'm sure you'd be willing to share what you know about this ruin. The orc happily nodded, then led Jang Han along the path toward the ruin. I can guide you, but someone as strong as you can't enter. The ruin lies just ahead. Yet all Jang Han saw was an endless plain, no sign of any ruin. Then, gradually, a mist-shrouded ancient ruin materialized before his eyes. Just as the orc thought he'd finally shaken off this annoying human, Jang Han exclaimed in awe he had never seen such a massive city before. The orc's eyes nearly popped out in shock. This is the orc's holy land. Only those below level 9 may enter. Jang Han scratched his head awkwardly. That's probably because I'm only level 1. No sooner had he spoken than countless spectral blades shot toward Jang Han. Over 100 robust orcs stepped out, mistaking Jang Han for a weak level 1 and ready to crush him for sport. Before the white-haired orc could warn Mistress Jang Han, he was already dealt with by Jang Han. Now, let's see who's the weakling. Jang Han charged into the orc horde without hesitation. Though just a level 1 nobody, he single-handedly wiped out 1,000,000 orcs and stood against the guardians of the orc ruins. Just moments ago, upon entering the ruins, Jang Han was attacked by orcs and he immediately fought back fiercely. Cut to a group of orcs searching for the intruder's trail. That damn beast pig. We must avenge our fallen comrades. They headed toward a suspicious area. Meanwhile, Jang Han hid nearby. Exhausted. There are way too many orcs here. I've been killing from dawn till dusk, yet endless disguised orcs keep emerging. It feels like I'm running in circles. I think I'm lost. Suddenly, 2 disguised orcs spotted Jang Han from the other side of the wall and a massive wave of them surged forward. Facing the relentless orc horde, Jang Han snapped, "You disgusting pests. Now it's my turn to show you a show." The green-skinned fat orcs blocking the entrance froze in place. What's this scrawny swine up to? A fierce crash echoed, then Jang Han sat atop a mountain of orc corpses. He pulled up his status panel, eager to see if anything had changed. Under the curses section, a new entry appeared. Earth-level slaughter. The souls of the slain haunt your dreams until they either reach nirvana or surrender. These disguised orcs really won't let go. Good thing I don't need sleep. But why are my curses piling up like this? 2 humans, captive here, approached. But Jang Han's broken foreign language skills left him clueless about their words. He needed to find the ruin's exit soon. He shifted his gaze to the barely living disguised orcs. Why? No matter how far I go, do I always end up back here? The city's entrance and exit are strange. The city center is the only way out, so that explains why I keep going in circles. He then headed toward the center, reaching the so-called city center quickly. But it was eerily empty. Did I need to use a spell to open a portal? Just then, a blinding pillar of light descended. On the central altar, a burly orc appeared, yelling, "You're the human who's been slaughtering my people recklessly." This guy's entrance was flashy. He looked fierce. Suhoja repeated coldly, "Yes, that's me. I warned these disguised orcs, but they ignored me. Is that the only reason you painted 1,000,000 disguised orcs on me?" Hearing this, Jang Han suddenly understood. So it was 1,000,000 disguised orcs. No wonder it took me so long. I am Suhoja of these ruins. I won't let a single human leave. You say you're Suhoja? Jang Han set down his backpack, his expression lighting up with excitement. Being Suhoja usually means killing you, nets a mountain of spears. Without hesitation, Jang Han charged straight at Suhoja, pouring all his strength into one decisive strike, locking horns with the beast-disguised Suhoja head-on. Jang Han quickly realized Suhoja's level far surpassed that of an ordinary beastman. Exhaustion crept in fast. The next moment, his arm and his opponent's were both severed. It seemed it was all over. Then a massive wave of energy slammed into Jang Han. Just as he was about to collapse completely, he flashed back to his starting point. Suhoja, stunned by this move, exclaimed, "You actually dodged a fatal blow in an instant, losing only an eye and an arm." He moved to finish Jang Han with a killing strike. But what happened next shocked Suhoja to his core. Jang Han's eye and arm had regrown. "Are you immortal? Is this why you dared to storm this half-orc ruin alone?" "None of that matters. I'll trap you inside this city until you rot away." Hearing this, Jang Han blinked in surprise. Didn't this guy have anything better to do? The scene shifted as the two clashed for 300 rounds. Watching Jang Han repeatedly swallowed by dust, Suhoja sneered, "How much longer do you plan to struggle, you stubborn fool? You actually asked me that? I'll keep fighting until I crush you, you green-skinned swine." They clashed again, and unsurprisingly, Jang Han was thrown back once more. Defeated this time, he stopped the futile fight and began studying Suhoja's moves in the dirt, searching for a weakness. By dawn the next day, staring at his night-long sketches on the ground, Jang Han fell into deep thought. I think I've finally figured something out. He closed his eyes, focused, gripping his weapon tightly. Then, like Suhoja possessed him yesterday, Jang Han unleashed the exact same technique. Shen was shocked, covering his mouth in disbelief. He spent all day yesterday mastering that move. Do you think he can actually take on Suhoja with it? Wen Yan was stunned too. You're twisted. After all the beatings I took and all the time spent spying on his swordplay, it finally paid off. Just then, Jang Han's status screen popped up. His relentless training was rewarded. His F-rank outsider blessing had advanced to level 1. Excited, Jang Han eagerly patted the deity's back. But the next second hit like an 8-2-year-long defense. His level 1 Yungung curse also jumped to C rank. My Yungung curse rising means only one thing. Yosin has noticed me and knows I'm alive. We need to speed up and hunt down this half-orc Suhoja. Soon, Jang Han returned to the city center. Here to die again. Human, or gonna chicken out and run again? This time, I won't run away. In that case, come on up. I can show you the relic. Jang Han climbed the steps asking, Did you set traps up there? Do you think a mighty warrior like me would rely on traps to beat you? Jang Han pondered briefly. Suhoja can't leave the ruins. He's baiting me inside to finish me off. Perfect. Then he followed Suhoja in. Suhoja spoke slowly. This used to be a training ground for Yungung. Training Yungung for beast disguisers? Beast disguisers were never chosen by the gods, so we have no Yungung. But when humans left, we took over. They left behind blessed relics. With that, Suhoja swung his weapon wildly. This will be your grave. Jang Han cut him off. I have something to say. What do you want to say? After they left behind a legendary weapon here. In the depths of the ruins, there is an ambush weapon prepared for novice Yungung. Jang Han froze. So, when I face Yosin in the final battle, I'll be wielding a beginner's weapon, even without thinking. I know what that means for a level 1 like me. Enough talk. It's my turn to avenge my half-orc comrades. The two clashed fiercely again. Jang Han fought while retreating toward the exit. Suhoja accelerated his assault, slashing wildly, but Jang Han seized an opening. Since you can't leave the ruins, I'll send you off. With a powerful kick, he sent Suhoja flying straight into the ruins' teleportation gate, where he vanished. Shen watched, bemused. Jang Han plays the victim after gaining the upper hand. It'd be better if we could settle this peacefully. Now, let's go find the treasure hidden here. At that moment, the god excitedly pointed toward the distant ruins. Are you saying there's treasure in that direction? A man of just level 1 effortlessly lifted the legendary holy relic. But in the next second, the holy sword grew unbearably heavy because it sensed he was the cursed Yungung. Furious, Jang Han smashed the holy sword with a single punch. Living by the creed, if I can't have it, I'll destroy it. He threw all the holy swords aside, then snapped the unclaimed swords in two, leaving shards of legendary relics scattered on the ground. Jang Han was about to break the sword in his hand when he realized swinging it was effortless. The god hinted that this sword must be defective, which is why it didn't sense the Yungung curse on him. After a brief pause, Jang Han destroyed the remaining holy swords. Now, this one in my hand is the only one left, so it's no longer defective. This move even stunned the god. The next moment, a status window appeared before Jang Han under the curse section. A new level 1 holy sword curse had been added. Furious, Jang Han wanted to rip that status window apart. He couldn't believe that simply breaking a few sword tails had triggered another cursed holy sword curse. The creator's blood and tears make all nearby holy swords stronger, making it far harder to destroy or seal an innocent sword. That sounds like a decent curse. Does that mean the defective sword inside my holy sword also enjoys this curse as a norm? The god silently shook his head, feeling sorry for the creator. This holy sword will become the strongest relic. Jang Han then prepared to leave the beastmen ruins. As he pondered how to open the exit portal, a different voice came from behind. Suhoja suddenly appeared from nowhere, rushing toward the altar. But Jang Han noticed something strange. Suhoja's half-orc fangs were missing several teeth, and his expression looked far older. Jang Han spread his hands, marking the altar entrance as sacred ground to keep others away. Still, Suhoja quickly reached him. Now was the time to test this holy sword. This time, Suhoja was cut down by a single sword strike, blood pouring from his left hand. Your arm's next. Suhoja quickly used his regeneration to recover, and Jang Han immediately pressed the advantage. An arrow sliced through, severing Suhoja's limb, leaving only a headless corpse behind. A whole day passed, and you haven't made any progress? Looks like your regeneration is just average. Suddenly, Suhoja's head started growing wildly. Just as he was about to fully recover, Jang Han grabbed his skull. If I throw him out now, he should die for good. As Jang Han prepared to toss Suhoja off the altar, the half-orc burst into tears. Please don't throw me out. I'll do anything for you. Anything? What can you do for me? I can temporarily move the ruins entrance and exit closer to the holy sword. After a moment's thought, Jang Han gladly agreed to his request, leaving Suhoja a small path for now. Jang Han then pointed outside the altar, ordering Suhoja to release the human trespassers and let them leave. Suhoja reluctantly agreed, knowing this ruin must never be discovered by humans, but he had no choice now. Jang Han shouted to the villagers, if you want to leave, climb up quickly. But the villagers hesitated. In the end, only 3 chose to leave the ruins. Jang Han sighed. These guys have stayed so long in the ruins, they've actually grown fond of it. Soon, Suhoja opened the portal out of the ruins. Jang Han recalled some bad memories and couldn't help but wonder if what lay beyond was dangerous. So he flattered the god, please have mercy on this loyal follower. For your sincerity, I'll step through and take a look. Confirming the outside was safe, Jang Han asked before leaving, how do I get back here? Just speak to the holy sword. I will hear your command. After repeated confirmation from the god, Jang Han finally relaxed and stepped toward the portal. The moment he crossed the threshold, a blinding flash overwhelmed him. Jang Han appeared in a strange room. Thank heavens, it wasn't the dragon's heart or the earth's core. But where was this? It looked like a noble's chamber. Jang Han noticed the weapons and armor hanging on the wall. Instinctively, he took a battle stance and questioned the god. Wasn't this supposed to be safe? The god replied, it is safe now. The god praised Jang Han's perfect understanding. Then I'd better hurry and leave. But what happened next made Jang Han stop. In the corner lay his own backpack. The man had casually stepped through a portal only to find himself in Seonyo's boudoir, unexpectedly spotting his backpack in the corner. Meanwhile, Seonyo had come to the dungeon searching for Jang Han, but the place had long been cleaned by villagers, showing no sign it once held hundreds of elves captive. The newly appointed Chanjang immediately fell to his knees, begging Seonyo for forgiveness. Though igniting a civil war between humans and elves is unforgivable, since the victims have already pardoned the matter, I will not hold you accountable. But what does the person who saved the elves look like? I want to reward their actions. Chanjang quickly replied that the person resembled the Yeongung who visited today. Hearing this, Seonyo casually found an excuse to send Chanjang away. That person must be the Yeongung cursed by Yosin, but how did he survive? Could he have received a god's blessing? Even so, how could a level 1 novice defeat packs of werewolves? Remember, even our carefully trained Yeongung suffer heavy losses against werewolves. Besides, who would bless him? All gods reside with us in the temple. If the ninja and the backpack's owner are the same person, it would be disastrous if the Yeongung found out. Seonyo smiled faintly. For now, the Yeongung remain under our control. Even the deity Seonyo worships feels anxious now. Don't worry, our secret won't be uncovered so soon. Everyone who knew the name Jang Han is already dead. Jang Han had returned to the inn. That damn beastman, I want to beat him up for sending me to such a dangerous place. The commotion drew Mo's outside. You're back just in time. I planned to leave yesterday, but unfortunately, a powerful human arrived in the city. I can't appear just yet. You don't mean Seonyo has come here, do you? No, Seonyo is Prince Ulsath of the Gisa Kingdom, the top-ranked Gisa in this realm. Jang Han calmly continued packing. Someone told me the prince is looking for you. Looking for me? So what? Jang Han started undressing while an enraged Moss ground his teeth. If you meet him, don't reveal any of my information. The prince is blessed by Seonyo. If he learns I'm an Akma Noi, I'm doomed. You say all this, but it doesn't concern me. Besides, we can't even communicate properly. At that moment, urgent knocks came from outside the 2 nobles Jang Han saved earlier. I didn't call them, Mo said. Seems like your power is quite popular in Manhwa. Moon Yensen frowned, but Jang Han quickly explained, they must be here to ask for my help. You're too materialistic. At this rate, you'll never get married. You're a lifetime bachelor. You have no right to say that. Moss covered his eyes, quietly sobbing. He noticed that after just a few days, Jang Han had gained another curse, the Holy Sword Curse. Even the Yeongung curse had evolved from level 1 to grade C. Did you kill that many Yeongung? If I stayed with you, I'd probably die before the wedding day. Sword-shaped Jang Han flared up. You bastard, what do you mean? If you leave, who'll translate for me? You could buy a slave who can translate. The 2 girls nearby couldn't stand it and suggested, why don't we go out shopping and chat? The prince is looking for you. You might need a new outfit. Reluctantly, Jang Han followed them onto the street. The scene shifted. The 2 girls beamed excitedly at Jang Han, who appeared slick with oil. This is damn uncomfortable. What did these Hanwha do to me? They then arrived at the prince's residence. Upon meeting, the prince greeted Jang Han politely. You can communicate with me normally. This is a language blessing. The prince must be able to communicate with all species. Thank you for hunting down the beastmen troubling our nation and rescuing the two ladies. I offer you my deepest gratitude. But what the prince said next shocked Jang Han. I'm curious, what skills did you use to slaughter beastmen on the plains? So if you don't mind, would you duel me? The man was a level 1 nobody, yet he defeated the kingdom's strongest sword saint with a single finger. Just now, the prince requested a duel with Jang Han the moment they met. When Jang Han hesitated, unsure how to respond, the prince realized his rudeness and ordered his servants to prepare a lavish dinner. Let's continue this conversation over dinner. Jang Han quickly devoured 10 large jars of grilled meat. Sorry, I was starving all day, ended up eating a bit too much. Wang Zhe replied politely, better to finish it than waste good food. Changing the subject, Mr. Jang, how did you end up cursed by that Young? You might not believe it, but it's because I punished a Young that was harassing a spirit. Do you remember what that Young looked like? Jang Han chuckled awkwardly. At first, I slapped the Young's face, so I don't really recall what he looked like. Well, thanks for helping maintain peace between humans and spirits. Actually, the real reason I invited you today is the guild's report. You've been hunting a massive number of shapeshifters lately. Those shapeshifters on the plains have all but vanished, as if they've evaporated from the world. Do you have any information on this? Seems it's because I hunted too many of them. Wang Zhe didn't believe it. If that were true, I'd have wiped out all the half-orcs by myself long ago. The scene shifted to the courtyard. I can't wait to see how strong you really are. Jang Han reluctantly pulled out his usual dagger. Wang Zhe was shocked. Isn't that an elven treasure? Seeing this, Jang Han quickly sheathed the dagger. Let's not use weapons for this duel. Then he raised his index finger. I'll fight you with just this finger. The crowd's faces twisted in disbelief. Wang Zhe responded with a similar move. This skill took me years of hardship to master, but I want to see your full power. Here, take this spare greatsword. Wang Zhe arrogantly raised the weapon. You go first. Jang Han was eager. This is the kingdom's top swordsman. Time to unleash my full strength. He slowly lifted his greatsword. A surge of energy rose around him, whipping up a fierce wind. I'm going all out. He swung, releasing that power. Trees around swayed. A terrifying red pillar of light shot up from the courtyard. Damn, that was too much force. If Wang Zhe dies, we're doomed. Turning toward the exit, Jang Han kicked open the gate without hesitation and dashed into the forest. Wang Zhe, struck head-on, emerged slowly from the dust. Staring at his broken sword, he questioned his life choices. All these years of training, for nothing? Meanwhile, Xianyo returned to her room, spotting dirty footprints on the floor. No doubt someone had broken in. But what shocked her more was the backpack missing from the corner. The evidence that could prove Yosin lied was gone. She hurriedly reported the serious matter to Yosin. Some arrogant god of mercy should have destroyed you sooner, Sonyo scolded angrily. Don't question my trust in you. Now, all we can do is leave it to fate. Yosin immediately asked if there was a way to find him. Instead of asking me here, why don't you go look yourself? Yosin's face darkened as he left the disciples. Though a high-ranking Akmanoi, he willingly became a servant to humans, all to prove his genuine love for that man. Just moments ago, Jang Han, thinking he'd killed Wang Zhe, hurriedly packed to flee and ordered Xianyo to open a teleportation gate. Moss behind him was shocked. Since when did you know spatial magic? No time to explain. Meet me at the city's north gate. I won't wait long, hurry. Leaving the high-level Moss itching for a fight, the scene cut to Moss shivering in a small forest north of the city. Suddenly, Jang Han appeared behind him. Let's go, but we need to decide where next. We can keep heading north to split up sooner. There's the largest slave market in the western continent. I'll find you slaves who can't translate. Then why didn't you escape while you had the chance? Why meet up with me? Because you damn fool took all my stuff. How could I slip away? We don't even have horses, so we had to leave in a rush. The geeses will catch up soon. As he spoke, Jang Han grabbed Moss tightly. Moss blushed. What are you planning? Let me go. Jang Han ran forward, glancing back. Isn't this faster than riding a horse? They ran straight through until dawn. Moses' stomach suddenly growled loudly. Left with no choice, Jang Han ordered Xianyo. In the next moment, a teleportation gate delivered a feast and a dining table. Moss finished eating with a surprised look, while Jang Han tossed his plate back through the portal after eating. It wasn't as delicious as when Wang Zhe and I ate together, but it wasn't bad either. Moss finally couldn't hold back and asked why. He'd never heard of magic that cooks and washes dishes. Jang Han stretched lazily. There are plenty of magics you haven't heard of. Now that we're full, let's get going. Stop rushing me, we're almost there. Why didn't you say so earlier? We could have just eaten in the city. Soon, the two arrived in the city. Honestly, this city was really huge. Muscular Mose urged, don't act like a bumpkin. Keep up with me, and give me back my backpack while you're at it. I won't run for now. Find me a slave who can translate, and then you can leave. Jang Han then ordered the holy sword. Bring me that brown backpack behind us. A brown backpack immediately crawled out from the portal. Moss stared at the holy sword in a daze. No matter how he looked at it, this guy didn't seem like a magic user. Could it be a magic sword? He took the holy sword from Jang Han, wanting to examine it, but it looked like an ordinary metal sword to him. The next second, he was blasted backward by a burst of holy light from the sword. Moss cursed loudly. So this damn thing is actually a holy sword? You gave a holy sword to Akmanoi? No wonder you trusted me with it so easily. By the way, how can a cursed Younggung wield a holy sword? Because it's a flawed relic. Hearing this, Moss suddenly understood. I get it. This sword is as flawed as its owner. Jang Han immediately brandished the holy sword, threatening Mose. Say that again if you dare. Scene cut. Jang Han followed Moss to the high-end slave market. Moss got straight to the point. We need a slave who can translate. The shop owner looked puzzled. You don't have any requirements for level, talent, or race? Jang Han whispered to Mose. Preferably a slave who can travel with me. Are you serious? You think such a slave even exists? After translating Jang Han's request, the owner surprisingly gave a firm yes, then led them upstairs to choose. A horned Akmanoi slowly appeared before them. Mose blushed slightly. It was rare to see Akmanoi slaves. Jang Han looked at Mose knowingly. You bought someone like you because only an Akmanoi fits these conditions. Mose angrily declared he wanted to buy the slave, but his pockets came up short on gold. The topic shifted as Jang Han asked why the Akmanoi became a slave. Because I loved someone too much. But he doubted my love was sincere, so I became his slave to prove it. So in the end, you were abandoned. A classic love story. Moss, overhearing, was so moved he broke into tears. The two looked at the sorrowful Moss in silent disbelief. Master, please get rid of that annoying brat staring at me. I want to rip those eyes right out of their sockets. Jang Han ignored the joke. We can set off now. The Akmanoi asked curiously, Before we go, no need to double check. I've already seen your status window. Level 27 Akmanoi Dialoka, blessed as a slave of the highest rank. Suddenly, Dika trembled all over. Jang Han quickly asked what was wrong. Blushing deeply, Dika looked up excitedly and begged Jang Han to command without restraint, because with the slave's blessing, disobedience brings corresponding pain. Nearby, Moss frowned. If you order him to do anything weird, I'll kill you. The two gave a disdainful look at Mose. Moses' master, please command me to kill that disgusting Akmanoi. Jang Han turned silently. Do whatever you want, just don't kill him. Scene cut. Jang Han stocked up on supplies in the street, then opened a portal to transport everything back to the base. Mose, who was originally planning to part ways, approached Jang Han. I've changed my mind. I'll adventure with you after all. No sooner had he spoken than an archer's arrow struck Moss in the head. He collapsed to the ground with a thud. A possessed inner demon spearman threw himself at the man, begging to be commanded without restraint. But the man demanded a fight between men and even severed the spearman's arm. Just moments ago, Mose was taken down by a hidden arrow, but the next arrow was easily knocked aside by Jang Han and another. Who would have thought someone would try a sneak attack broad daylight? The assailant was soon found and thoroughly beaten by Jang Han. Jang Han glanced around. The crowd watching was growing and the city guards were rushing toward the noise. To avoid trouble, Jang Han decided to leave with Dika and Moss, taking them away from the scene. Cut to outside the city. Jang Han dropped off the pretending to sleep Moss. Moss gritted his teeth, drawing his sword. It wasn't a guess. I just let my guard down a bit and got ambushed. So does that mean you've been living completely unguarded this whole time? What a weakling. Moss instantly felt like his heart was about to give out after being mocked by his crush, Akmanoi. Nearby, Jang Han was about to clean the blood off himself when Dika suddenly attacked. Does my master look easy to deal with? Dika's attack was backed by Akmanoi's power. Jang Han gathered his strength and unleashed his werewolf sword technique, sparking a fierce clash with Dika. Dika stared in shock at her shattered palm. Jang Han seemed pleased with the fight's outcome. Dika questioned incredulously, Are you really only level 1? So what if I'm not level 1? You're going to make excuses like Moss, claiming you were careless for a moment. No sooner said than done, Dika charged again. She still saw him as a weakling. Then let me show you your master's true power. With that, she rushed straight at Dika. Watch my Pegasus Meteor Fist. He delivered a final, powerful blow, but Dika easily dodged the strike. Master, you really underestimated me. Jang Han's face twisted in awkwardness before Dika's palm slashed across his chest, blood gushing out. Dika smirked proudly. This little wound means nothing to an Akmanoi. Now, master, if you set me free, I'll heal you right away. But Jang Han casually ordered, Stay right there. Don't move. What happened next shocked Dika. Jang Han's wound healed visibly before their eyes. Are you even human? Dika asked, growing a new arm. Since we both have powerful regeneration, let's see who lasts till the end. Is that your command, master? At that moment, Moss woke up and shouted, "Miss Dika, don't be afraid, I'll protect you." Hearing this, both Jang Han and Dika shot Moss a dark look. Moss kept fawning, claiming he'd known Jang Han's fighting weaknesses for a long time. Before he could finish, Jang Mi's dagger plunged into Moses' head. "Don't you know me well enough? How come you didn't run into this move?" Even Dika absolutely hated that bootlicker Moss. While Jang Han fought Dika fiercely with his whip, he said, "Moss just wants to flatter you. I hate traitors the most. But didn't you betray me too? Though I'm a slave, I never swore to be yours." The two clashed again. Over time, Dika's regeneration began to lag behind her injuries. "What is this guy made of?" Jang Han's face lit up with excitement. Finally, a worthy opponent. Suddenly, Dika sprouted wings. Mistaking her for trying to flee, Jang Han threw a punch, but Dika landed on his arm and kicked off powerfully, soaring into the sky. Ever heard of a falling sky kick? She turned her leg into a blade and slammed down on Jang Han. He raised his palm to block, but what he saw made his face flush red. As if witnessing something indescribable, then the blow crushed his head. Just before losing consciousness, he heard, "The white fatty wakes up again." Holding his head, savoring the fight moments ago, a god behind him shouted angrily, "What were you doing at that critical moment?" Then Dika approached calmly. "You're going to buy me new clothes, right, master?" Jang Han refused reluctantly. Moss immediately got excited, promising to buy Dika a perfect-fitting outfit. Dika punched Moss away. Providing food, shelter, and clothes for a slave is the master's duty. So Jang Han pulled out his holy sword and fetched new clothes from the portal. Dika, now dressed in new clothes, finally faced the truth. "The moment I failed to win by an overwhelming margin, I lost. And in the end, you clearly threw the match on purpose. So, as the loser, don't you have anything to say?" The next moment, Dika suddenly hugged Jang Han tightly. "I'll make it up to you properly. I'm exhausted and need to rest. The rest is up to you." He was Yewang, the elf king who had lived for thousands of years, yet once imprisoned in a dungeon by an evil black mage because his level was a pitiful 12. Not long ago, Seonyo discovered someone had broken into her room and invited Sarah to help investigate. The room they were in was the crime scene. Then Sarah activated the Sulaim in her hand. In the next instant, the entire room was bathed in brilliant light. Seonyo eagerly asked about the culprit's whereabouts. According to Sulaim's feedback, the intruder escaped using a holy sword. This was the worst outcome. The culprit turned out to be a Younggung. Coming to her senses, Seonyo politely asked Sarah if she needed any help. "I was planning to study at the Magic Academy. Ever since the dungeon incident, I've wanted to level up." But during the hunt, Sarah realized he still couldn't accept leveling up through killing. He hated fighting intensely. That's why, despite living thousands of years, he was stuck at a lowly level 12. Gaining knowledge at the academy was another way to earn experience. That was the best choice for him. So Seonyo gladly agreed to Sarah's request. Meanwhile, Jang Han carried the unconscious Dika back into the city. As for the sycophant Mose, he chose to leave them and venture alone into the forest, leaving behind only one sentence. "When I return, I'll be a powerful Akma Noi worthy of Miss Dika." Watching Jang Han smiling as he carried the female Akma Noi, God clenched his fists and ground his teeth, urging Jang Han to abandon this Akma Noi. Jang Han tried to soothe him. "It's basically like our translator, just a different gender." God was clearly unsatisfied with this lame excuse and, frustrated, flew off into the distance, leaving Jang Han looking around anxiously, trying to track God's movements. Elsewhere, God appeared at Seonyo's training ground, intently watching their regimen. The tournament champion will get a chance to enroll in the Magic Academy and obtain a powerful holy sword. Imagining life at the Magic Academy, God happily decided to arrange for Jang Han to study there as well. Cut to Jang Han, who waved his hand, tossing Dika onto the in-bed. Watching her asleep, he turned and opened his own status screen, studying it. "My outsider blessing is still active, so God hasn't abandoned me." Then he opened the window. Night was the perfect time for slave thieves to strike. "Before leaving the city, I have to settle this score." At that moment, God appeared quietly beside Jang Han. "You're back just in time. How about we handle something big together?" God asked where he planned to go. Of course, to pay a proper visit to those bastards who ambushed us. But God asked if he decided where to go afterward and suggested Jang Han head to the Magic Academy next. Jang Han pulled a long face. "Go to school? I'll decide after I deal with those thieves." The next second, God rolled on the ground. "If you help me get revenge, I'll consider your suggestion." God narrowed his eyes. "It's settled then." Jang Han proceeded to buy a group of slaves as bait. Just as Jang Han was stunned, an archer attacked from afar. Jang Han blocked the strike instantly. These kids had indeed attracted Dojak's attention and even brought out their leader. Suddenly, dozens of accomplices appeared blinking on the high walls around. Jang Han was dumbfounded. This is a whole theft gang of monks and their leader just jumped down. God impatiently urged Jang Han to finish quickly. Fueled by rage, Jang Han launched into a killing spree. Soon, the entire gang was knocked out and tied up here. Then he called the city guards, conveniently completing a bounty quest. Sulaim in the city also started clearing the battlefield. In the end, only one big bone remained undismantled, catching Jang Han's attention. This unremarkable bone became hotly contested, even summoning the disaster-level king of the underworld, all under God's control. To push Jang Han toward the academy, God kept nagging about its benefits, but Jang Han remained reluctant. Just then, a burly geisha appeared behind Jang Han. Watching the geisha Babylon, Jang Han was confused. I'm probably a wanted man now for attempting to assassinate royalty. Is this geisha here to arrest me? God sketched it out. The geisha planned to buy this bone as a gift for his son at the academy. Someone urged Jang Han once again to seize the chance to go to the academy. Reluctantly, Jang Han agreed to let geisha purchase the bones, but with one condition. She must escort him to the academy for training. Geisha was taken aback by this demand, then decisively refused Jang Han's request. No translation needed to understand her meaning. Her scheme had failed, and the divine artifact stomped its foot in frustration. Just as Jang Han was pondering, Dika suddenly appeared, complaining that Jang Han had left him alone at the inn. Without hesitation, Dika clung tightly to Jang Han's side. Geisha's face instantly paled. Akma Noi had boldly shown up here in broad daylight. Dika whispered, "Master, who is this geisha? Are you saying this Akma Noi is her servant?" Dika answered his own question with certainty. Otherwise, how could I dare to come out so boldly? Growing impatient, the divine artifact kept urging Jang Han to hurry up with the academy matter. After a moment's thought, it decided it could no longer stand by and once again left Jang Han's side. Just as Jang Han was about to continue negotiating with geisha about the academy, a deafening roar echoed from the sky. Looking up, cold sweat poured down his face. A massive, crimson Yeonryong Wang loomed over the city. Yeonryong Wang's voice rumbled, "A disaster more terrifying than death. I will destroy all hateful humans this time." The next moment, Yeonryong Wang was stunned to find that although he had revived, his level was only 1. Clutching his head in disbelief, Yeonryong Wang shouted in fury, "Who did this?" Seeing the level drop, Jang Han immediately understood this was definitely the doing of our outsider god. Unaware of the truth, the Yeonryong artifact roared skyward in warning, "Who dares joke with my level?" Naturally suspecting Yeongung's doing, a fiery dragon's breath blasted from his mouth, devastating buildings within a 10-mile radius. Seeing this, geisha rushed forward, ready to confront the Yeonryong Wang head-on. The divine artifact began urging Jang Han to quickly finish off the Yeonryong Wang, even mimicking his moves, pushing him to show geisha his skills. Now understanding the divine artifact's intent, Jang Han immediately drew the legendary holy sword. Meanwhile, Yeonryong Wang continued venting his rage. The city guards raised their bows and launched a volley of arrows, but human swordsmanship was like a tickle to Yeonryong Wang, causing no harm, only further igniting his fury. At the critical moment, Seonju arrived just in time, blocking the dragon's breath with a single powerful strike. Unexpectedly, Seonju proved he was no joke. "Now it's my turn," he declared, leaping onto a rooftop. As Yeonryong Wang swung into position, countless Byongsa cried out in pain. Yeonryong Wang noticed his levels slowly restoring with every kill. The divine artifact pushed Jang Han to finish the beast quickly, but Jang Han needed time to gather strength for a decisive blow. He ordered Dika to distract the dragon for now. Watching a level 27 advanced Akma Noi rapidly approach, Yeonryong Wang reflected, "Excellent, become the experience I need to level up." But Dika, no ordinary Akma Noi after all these years, unleashed the magic crown-like cannon, instantly piercing Yeonryong Wang's wings and provoking the dragon's body to radiate tens of thousands of degrees of heat. Dika barely managed to hold up the Akma Noi shield to withstand the assault, while Jang Han continued gathering energy, unmoved by the chaos. The divine artifact was furious, shouting, "What the hell are you up to?" The next moment, the divine artifact clamped a hand over its mouth, unwilling to interrupt Jang Han. Around Jang Han, red energy whirlpools swirled, fueled by 3 deepened blessings. With a powerful push-off, Jang Han charged at Yeonryong Wang, his sword slicing swiftly across the dragon's neck. The crowd was stunned. Jang Han smirked victoriously. "Is that all you've got?" Yet Yeonryong Wang was not fully dead. A level 1 man had slain a disaster-level Yeonryong Wang with a single strike. All who fought alongside earned the dragon's blessing as a reward, but the final beheader, Jang Han, received the dragon's curse. Moments ago, Jang Han had severed Yeonryong Wang's head. The dragon's eyes burned with unwillingness. How could a once mighty Yeonryong Wang fall to a level 1 nobody? In his last breath, he cursed Jang Han. With my soul, I reveal a curse upon the man before me. As the words fell, strands of red curse energy gathered on Jang Han's chest. The dragon's wrath curse appeared before him, making Jang Han tremble with rage, desperate to tear apart the window before him. Even the seasoned Dika admitted he had never seen anything like this. In his memory, dragons held pride above all. They rarely accepted defeat so completely. Furious, Jang Han wanted to kick awake the Yanryung Wang. "You big lizard, if you've got the guts, revive and fight again. What kind of skill is a curse? I saved at least 10,000 residents and I don't even get a single reward. Instead, I get cursed with dragon's wrath when life's in danger. The furious Yanryung Wang attacks you." Staring at the curse, Jang Han covered his eyes, radiating a despair even darker than the curse itself. At that moment, Dika looked at the popping panel with excitement. "Why are you so happy about being cursed?" "Because I'm not cursed, I actually received a new blessing." Hearing this, Jang Han was stunned and immediately asked to see the blessing. The moment he saw it, he froze. It was also dragon's wrath, but Dika's was an angry dragon that protected him when his life was in danger. Jang Han glanced at Seonju, who awkwardly turned his head away. Undeterred, Jang Han jumped in front of him and asked insistently, "Are you cursed like this too?" After getting a confirming nod, Jang Han dropped to his knees. "Heavens and earth, why is it so unfair?" After calming down, Jang Han happily looked over the pile of dragon scales and claws, but with so many treasures, he could only hand them over to trade for a chance to enter the academy. The scene shifted. Seonju paraded down the street with his dragon guardian. From behind the crowd, Jang Han immediately caught Seonju's attention. After the parade, Seonju found a moment to talk to Jang Han. Jang Han quickly asked Dika to translate, "I want the reward to go toward rebuilding the city and compensating the victims' families. Thanks to me and my master, you're alive. We don't want those pathetic rewards, use them for others." After the translation, Jang Han felt something was off. Why had Seonju's expression turned so sour? Suddenly, a thick fog appeared in the sky. The dragon's wrath curse was being punished. Seonju looked up in shock. A massive dinosaur, several meters long, appeared with crackling lightning. It was clearly coming for me. What a strange world this island, but I easily slew a living dragon, and now this defeated corpse dares to act up before me? The desperate man took down one Yanryung Wang with ease, but the next second, countless Yanryung Wang appeared before him, even turning on each other in deadly combat. Just moments ago, a dragon hunter appeared before Jang Han. After he easily dispatched the beast, endless curses swirled around him. Then ancient dragons erupted from the sky and ground, appearing right behind Seonju. Before he could react, one ancient dragon charged and slammed him into a corner wall. At that moment, Seonju's dragon blessing activated. An ancient dragon in Suhoja's form appeared above him, then flew straight at the cursed ancient dragon. Akmanoi Dika, fighting fiercely, grew weary. Lost in thought, a dragon hunter slammed toward him. Dika's vision blurred with stars as he blacked out, triggering his dragon blessing. What the hell is going on? If this keeps up, the whole city will be destroyed. Looks like I need to end this quickly. Saying that, he shot forward with an arrow. The battle raged until dawn. Even the endless energy Jang Han had to take breaks. Dika, now awake, said he had never heard of ancient dragons appearing in packs before. The Yanryung Wang curse shouldn't be so easily punished. Jang Han had a rough idea. Because of the outsider's blessing, he could infinitely reset his HP. Unlike werewolves who gain strength over time, he spent his HP for power. When his HP hit 0, the curse activated, but the outsider's blessing restored his life, creating an endless loop summoning infinite forces. Thankfully, the curse had activation limits, but the outsider's blessing reset those limits, meaning he must control the power he uses. Understanding this, Jang Han stared at the street littered with dragon bones, unsure how to proceed. Suddenly, Seonju rose from the bones and invited Jang Han and his son to train at the academy together. Jang Han looked puzzled, curious about what the old man was saying. Dika explained, "Seonju wants you to attend school with his bastard son." Jang Han immediately shook Seonju's hand warmly and happily accepted the invitation. Meanwhile, Seonyo was hosting a tournament for the Yunggung. Suddenly, a subordinate interrupted with urgent news. Last night, in the northern city of the Gisa Kingdom, the red Yeonryong Wang arcade appeared. Seonyo was stunned. "Are you sure the information is accurate? The number of dragon horns and the color of the scales matched the descriptions in the records. Yet this Yeonryong Wang had been slain by Seonyo centuries ago. I can confirm the death of the red Yeonryong Wang. I saw her corpse with my own eyes. Could a god have resurrected him? I find that unlikely. The gods are busy watching this tournament. They wouldn't have time for such things. Could the gods have mistaken the location of the match? Besides, there shouldn't be any Yunggung there. Why would a god resurrect Yeonryong Wang? Maybe it's Jang Han, who survived Yosin's pursuit. Surely he has a god aiding him to block Yosun's tracking. Then Sonyo scolded his subordinate for only now bringing such important news and rushed to handle the matter. But the next moment, Seonyo stopped in his tracks as the subordinate reported that the red Yeon Ryong Wang had already been killed allegedly by a Gisa. Hearing this, Seonyo relaxed immediately. That definitely wasn't the red Yeon Ryong Wang. How could a mere Gisa kill Yeon Ryong Wang? Meanwhile, Jang Han arrived at Seonju's home. With just a glance, the man summoned a powerful presence, only to be swallowed whole by an ancient dragon the next moment. Earlier, Jang Han was invited by Seonju to the castle as a guest. During their conversation, he learned that Seonju wanted Jang Han to accompany his eldest son to the academy instead of his youngest son who had never attended. The eldest was introverted and had dropped out, so this sounded like a tutor's role. At this, Seonju and his wife looked gratefully at Jang Han. If you agree, great risks await you. But when Dika translated, it came out as them wanting to buy your loyalty with money. Confirm that this is what they mean and accept their request on my behalf. Dika immediately translated with fiery passion. Listen up, Gisa. My master wants to see your worthless face. How dare you hide when guests arrive? Jang Han stood up at once. What did you just say? Why did Seonju and his wife suddenly fall into such despair? In the end, to comfort Seonju and his wife, Jang Han collapsed exhausted onto the bed. Jang Han suddenly sat up and asked Dika what he knew about the academy. It was one of 4 major academies founded by humans to oppose us Akmanoi. They mainly taught savage violence. But no matter how hard they tried, they remained weak humans, so he became a social climber and schemer. Just then, Seongju's foolish son burst in, furious. He challenged Jang Han. How dare a lowly Giza mess with his parents? Grab your weapon, I want a duel. The fool's expression needed no translation. Jang Han got the gist. Since your father entrusted you to me, I won't let him down. Looks like I need to teach you how to be a good student. Then he threw a punch, 2 blows sent the boy flying out the door. Looking at Seonju's eldest son sitting in the corner, Jang Han couldn't help but recall his own naive self when he first came to this world, foolishly thinking Yosun would kindly send him home. Thinking of this, Jang Han accidentally crushed the doorframe, then suddenly realized he might have gone too far and hurried over to check on the eldest son. At that moment, the eldest son opened his eyes, saw Jang Han, and immediately tried to escape, only to be knocked out by Dika a few steps away. Jang Han felt he had pushed too hard this time, so he decided to give him some precious dragon bones. Seonju rushed over, unable to believe that such a blockhead was his own son. Jang Han awkwardly scratched his head. Thanks to the mage's treatment, the eldest son soon regained consciousness. Jang Han confessed, this treatment works remarkably well, but the moment the eldest son opened his eyes, he tried to attack Jang Han again. Seems like he still doesn't get the problem. In an instant, Jang Han unleashed a fierce aura. A dragon appeared behind him and bit down, but the next second, Jang Han shattered the dragon's fang with a punch and slipped out of its mouth. On his first day at school, the man faced a bullying female student. Yet, as a freshman new to this level, he easily defeated both attackers. Just moments ago, Jang Han set off for the Hero Academy with Dika, but even now, he still doesn't know why he has to go there. The divine voice told him he'd understand the reason once he arrived at the academy. Soon, they reached the gates, yet Jang Han remained clueless about the purpose. Nearby, Shinjian immediately hugged a pillow, pretending to be asleep. Jang Han realized this place was less an academy and more a fortified city. Watching Jang Han in his academy uniform, Dika excitedly said, Master, as a first-year freshman, you're definitely going to be someone important here. The scene shifted. Jang Han never imagined he'd have to take entrance exams in another world. The examiner was surprised, saying, a first-year freshman like you passing all physical tests? Then came the question about Jang Han's knowledge of elves. Jang Han's impression of elves was quite deep, so he answered, I was once blessed by the elves. The examiner found Jang Han humorous and noticed the elf's blessing on him. He promptly accepted Jang Han, saying, I hope you, a freshman graced by the elves, enjoy your time here. If you need any help, contact me anytime. And just like that, Jang Han began his academy life. As Jang Han hesitated about where to go next, the divine voice suggested he take a look at a statue. Before Jang Han could ask why, the divine voice urged him to hurry. Soon, the two arrived near the statue. Is this the statue you mentioned? At that moment, Seonju family's youngest son approached Jang Han just as he voiced his question. Who does this statue represent? Are they famous? The youngest son answered reverently, this is a powerful rival of Yeongung from this world. He once trained at this academy. Hearing Yeongung's rival, more questions stirred inside Jang Han. He decided to investigate the statue in detail later. Suddenly, a shout came from afar. You freshmen, stop wandering around. Come help hang the banner. Curious, Jang Han asked. What does it say? The other party roared, Are you blind, you useless rank E? It's to welcome the new Younggung. This is to welcome the newly enrolled Younggung. Seonju's youngest son was thrilled, saying, to actually see the legendary Younggung, this prestigious academy really is different. But Jang Han panicked at the thought of meeting his old classmates. They're coming. Surely Yosin from back then came too. Is it too late to run now? The divine voice, however, confidently patted his chest. Don't worry, they haven't arrived yet. The divine voice emphasized again, this is a truly great statue. Jang Han stared at the statue, lost in thought. Why won't the divine voice just tell me? Could it be a secret they're not allowed to reveal? Suddenly, the senior's shout snapped Jang Han out of his trance. Stop daydreaming and come work with me. Embarrassed by the tone, Jang Han asked, what exactly are you saying? Unexpectedly, the senior grabbed Jang Han's collar and said, if you don't understand, just follow me. Unaware of the full situation, Jang Han happily followed him away. The group was led to a remote corner where two people were arguing nearby. The senior sister slapped one of them directly, while Jang Han was pinned against the wall by the senior. Do you know where this is? This place isn't under the school's jurisdiction, Jang Han replied. So there's no surveillance here, right? What's a rank E newbie like you thinking? Haven't you figured out the situation yet? No sooner had he spoken than Jang Han grabbed his neck. Since no one's watching here, I can do whatever I want. Then he pulled a hammer from a portal. Is what I'm doing really that wrong? With that, he swung the hammer down. Nearby, the red-haired senior was shocked. A ranky rookie just took down a level 17 senior. But the redhead showed no self-awareness and instead questioned Jang Han. How dare you do something so crazy? I think what you're doing is crazier. Have you forgotten no one can see us here? Then she was lifted off the ground as Jang Han cheerfully told the blonde girl who'd been bullied earlier. You should leave first. I want to talk alone with these two good brothers. Suddenly, agonized screams echoed throughout the academy. The scene shifted. Jang Han returned to the dorm room. Looking at Dika on the bed, he asked dazedly, where will you sleep tonight? Usually slaves sleep on the floor under a blanket, but I guess I'm not exactly normal. Can I sleep next to you? Jang Han decisively refused Dika's request. There's something more important to do now, explore the academy under the cover of night. The man simply touched the mermaid's statue, and in the next moment, he received the mermaid's blessing. Whatever he did, others would forgive him. Just moments ago, Jang Han came to the tavern to gather information. Upon entering, he immediately spotted a rowdy group of drunkards shouting, and his target was among them. I heard you're well versed in the academy's history, so I came specially to visit. The burly man, drunk, slurred as he asked who sent Jang Han. That would naturally be the two respected senior students. It's a long story. Then he pulled out a pouch of gold coins to show his intent. I need a way to get into the academy right now. But the drunkard's eyes locked onto the base that came along, mocking Jang Han. A useless level 1, yet you have a level 27 elite Akmanoi follower? He even demanded Jang Han leave the follower behind before revealing the plan. No sooner had he spoken than Dika kicked him flying. The tavern crowd closed in around them, but the next moment Jang Han's face flushed slightly, a hint of embarrassment, as Dika's long legs swiftly defeated them all. Yet Jang Han's sharp eyes weren't on the fight, they were locked on something else. Today, the Fats was black. The scene shifted. A student was patrolling the night when Jang Han suddenly lunged from behind. The academy's night defense was part of the student evaluation system, allowing Jang Han to sneak in smoothly, though he could only knock them out, not kill. This restriction was annoying. The two quickly arrived near the statue. Dika spoke of the statue's secret inscription. They say Peta was exiled after coveting Yong'en's Honghua. Filled with resentment, he sided with the Queen of Leaves. After becoming a vampire, he succeeded in taking that Honghua. Jiang Han looked at Dika in awe. You know so much, but the gods said the answers are here. Why didn't I notice? I think I've figured out the riddle. Don't you find it strange? There's no barrier between Peta and Lady Gisa. Peta stares at Lady Gisa, but she looks elsewhere, so we just need to follow Lady Gisa's gaze. That should reveal the secret. Moments later, they arrived where her gaze landed. On the ground was a special mark, actually a map, with a marked point near a nearby lake. That reminds me of a legend. Long ago, a mermaid lived in Wuzhong. After waiting too long for Peta, she turned to stone. Following the legend in Peta's direction, the two found a mermaid statue. Is this the mermaid from the story? Besides the weeping face, it didn't seem special. After a moment's thought, Jiang Han decided to thoroughly search the statue's base. At that moment, Jiang Han's palm glowed golden, eventually forming a ring. Just as Jiang Han wondered what it did, a blessing named forgiveness appeared before him. The owner's actions are far more likely to be forgiven by others. Jiang Han lit up with joy. I finally received a blessing, not a curse. But the gods sensed a trap. Restless, the god paced as four black-robed figures appeared around them. The elf Sarah, who once kissed Jiang Han, appeared at the academy and would serve as a teacher under the title Flame Suhoja. Yet Jang Han didn't recognize this old acquaintance. Moments ago, Jang Han was surrounded by the black-robed men. He raised his hands, showing he was no enemy. "Stop moving, unless you want to die." Hearing this, Jang Han pitifully said, "I'll stay quiet." Under the blessing of forgiveness, the men immediately changed their tone. "Since you're a student, don't do this again." Jang Han happily saw them off. The scene shifted to the enrollment ceremony, where the host spoke passionately from the stage. "This year, we welcome a new professor, Flame Suhoja, the elf artist Sarah." Sarah politely expressed her honor at this opportunity. Jang Han's attention, however, was fixed on Sarah's shoulder. "Is that a phoenix?" Speaking of phoenixes brought back fond memories. The phoenix seemed moved and looked at Jang Han. "Am I imagining things? Why is this firebird staring at me?" At that moment, the buzz-cut newcomer interrupted Jang Han's thoughts. "I can't believe I get to see Flame Suhoja. Coming back to school this time is awesome." Jang Han asked curiously, "Is this elf really that powerful?" Meanwhile, the ceremony moved to the next phase. The vice principal emphasized, "This is a special year. Soon a group from Young will enroll. Before that, we'll hold a sorting ceremony. You'll be divided into upper and lower classes. The rule is simple. Fight until half of your strength is lost." As soon as he finished, chaos broke out. Students who were friendly moments ago now fought each other fiercely. Jang Han admired the savage rule. "Since I now have the forgiveness blessing, wait until I knock you all down, then forgive me." Sounding confident, he instantly took down 3 classmates. At that moment, Chang Zhu's eldest son knelt trembling on the ground, feeling these people must be crazy. The top class must be full of lunatics like this. So he conveniently fell to the ground, pretending to be struck down. The battle ended quickly. Jang Han smiled, waiting for praise. The head instructor first encouraged them, then announced the class president of the top class. Jang Han perked up to listen closely as the teacher named Prince Regil as the president. "I'm looking forward to studying with you all." This teacher actually didn't choose the strongest fighter as class president. Meanwhile, the Cheng female tournament entered the award ceremony. "Congratulations on becoming the final winner. Now raise your holy sword and proclaim the Eon Oath." After Choi Kang-myung complied, the holy sword emitted a dazzling light, then vanished into a golden portal. The man was a sword master, yet the instructor drove him out. Just moments ago, Choi Kang-myung raised the holy sword, then disappeared into the portal. Looking around the ruins, he was bewildered. Could this be the legendary ruins? At that moment, a native appeared before him. "Welcome to the Beastmen Paradise." Choi Kang-myung couldn't believe his ears. Beastmen Paradise? On the steps stood a robust beastman. "Welcome here, Yan, summoned by the rules. Next, you will undergo training according to the regulations." In the real world, the swordsmanship instructor was questioning Jang Han. "Why did you come to class unprepared?" "What do you mean by unprepared? Swordsmanship is the foundation to becoming a geisha, and to use swordsmanship, you must have the warrior's blessing." The next moment, Jang Han was kicked out of the classroom. Furious, he was about to smash the door, but reconsidered and calmed himself down. No warrior's blessing means no swordsmanship. Then the classroom door was shattered to pieces. Seeing this, the instructor was about to lose his temper. "Didn't you understand what I said?" Before the words finished, the scene before the instructor shocked him. Jang Han, without the warrior's blessing, unleashed an even stronger werewolf sword technique. "Is this the swordsmanship you meant?" Overpowered by Jang Han's strength, the instructor silently allowed him to join the team and continue the class. At this moment, Jang Han curiously asked his classmates how they obtained the warrior's blessing. "Isn't it simple? I just drank a bottle of magic potion." Hearing this, Jang Han shot an angry glare. "Lazy bastards, why didn't you tell me this earlier?" Then, the class president approached Jang Han, expressing admiration. He even promised unlimited potions if Jang Han became his subordinate. Jang Han coldly said, "Fuck off, get lost." Just as the president was about to explode in rage, Jiao Mi activated the newly gained forgiveness blessing. The president happily said, "I'm enlightened." Meanwhile, Jang Han munched on popcorn, knowing the president's quirks, eagerly awaiting what would happen next. Finally, the instructor got to the point. "Before class starts, I'll show you something good." Then he pulled out a dragon tooth he had treasured for years. Both the instructor and the classmates gazed at it with fascination. "This cost me 10 years of savings. Look at its size and shine so brilliant." For Jiang Han, who had a pile of dragon bones, this was utterly dull. In the end, the lesson ended with the instructor telling the story of the dragon tooth. The classmates were all satisfied with the lesson, baffled as to why Jiang Han disliked the dragon tooth. Just then, heavy footsteps came from behind. Turning around, Jiang Han saw familiar faces. The 3 were classmates sent to the lower class by Jiang Han's ritual. They claimed to have something good to show him. The scene shifted as Jiang Han arrived at their base. Chang Zhu's foolhardy son was lying on the ground, then roughly pulled up by a golden-haired man. Is this guy your companion? If it weren't for you sending us to the lower class, this guy wouldn't have ended up like this. The golden-haired group wanted revenge on Jang Han, but an angry Jang Han only said, "Foolish. Do you think life gets easier once you're in the lower class? Unforgivable. You lot have turned the old man's child in my hands into a mess." Saying this, he opened a portal and pulled out a fresh big bone, making a mess. Saying this, he opened a portal and pulled out a fresh big bone. He wanted an apology, but the others hadn't realized the gravity of the situation. Seeing the big bone, he smiled, "How about this?" The next second, he was beaten into a grimace, unable to smile anymore. The sudden scene stunned everyone. But Jang Han slowly spoke. "Next class is about to start, so you idiots better come together and wait for the useless medics." He had mastered spell-level magic, piercing the sky with a single strike and defeating the Academy's strongest swordsman. Just moments ago, the man merely raised his thumb and an intimidating aura radiated from him. Before long, the enemies all lay on the ground. Looking at the young master pretending to sleep, Jang Han planned to announce to others that he was the one who defeated these students. After all, a lone level one taking down so many was unbelievable. No one would believe it if told. The eldest young master just shot Jang Han a resentful glare. This was the man who had first been knocked out, now waking up. Jang Han walked over with a smile. "I still have class later." The man replied in confusion, but thought to himself, "Thank heavens, the misunderstanding between us seems resolved." Then the man respectfully saw Jang Han off. Just as Jang Han prepared to explore the academy further, the ring he got from the mermaid suddenly glowed. Following the ring's guidance, Jang Han moved forward until the ring finally settled down. What's going on? Is the ring broken, or have we reached our destination? It does look pitiful here. Jang Han looked up and saw a cluster of objects flying through the sky. A burst of magical energy was rapidly descending, and the next moment, it slammed into the spot where Jang Han had just been standing. Who's so reckless? Casting magic carelessly. Just then, a fierce-looking man stormed over, scolding Jang Han for trespassing. However, under forgiveness, the man instantly changed his face and said this was the magic range. "Dear student, please don't mess around here." Jang Han was annoyed inside. If it's really dangerous, why aren't there any warning signs? At that moment, Layla in the crowd noticed Jang Han and called out, "What are you doing here?" Hearing this, Jang Han froze. "Do I know you? I'm Layla. You saved me when I was disguised." Jang Han replied apologetically, "Oh, it's you, Layla. Long time no see. Not Lisha, it's Layla. Looks like you really forgot." Jang Han awkwardly scratched his head. The scene shifted to the two old friends sitting together again. Layla praised, "Your language skills have improved a lot, by the way. Are you here at the magic shooting range because you want to learn magic?" Jang Han could only say he came to learn magic. Just as he awkwardly approached, Layla offered to teach him magic. Jang Han asked in disbelief, "I thought you couldn't learn magic without a blessing?" "You can still learn some basics without a blessing." They agreed to meet again at the same time tomorrow to study together, leaving Jang Han deep in thought. It wouldn't be bad to actually learn magic. Just then, the class president strode over with authority. "I've been looking for you everywhere." Jang Han quickly activated the forgiveness blessing, hoping to escape trouble. But the next second, a hand blocked Jang Han's path. This time, the blessing didn't work. The president had prepared a draft, writing down what he wanted to say. It turned out the forgiveness blessing could be nullified this way. He must have discovered the blessing through the status effect. The president invited Jang Han to form a team, even painting a grand future. "We'll definitely become the strongest team in the academy." Jang Han went along with it, and the president happily pulled him into a friendly hug. "I believe we'll get along great." Meanwhile, Jang Han silently thought he needed to find a way to hide his status. As soon as he returned, Jang Han asked Dika if such a method existed. After some thought, Dika suggested many ways to conceal status. However, all required a divine blessing. None were attainable for Jang Han at this stage. Then a passing classmate said, "Some curses, though risky, can have the same effect. Using a curse to hide status sounds interesting." But it can have the same effect. Using a curse to hide status sounds interesting. Then Dika, unwilling to be outdone, declared, "I know a curse with that effect, the curse of greed. This curse grants absolute control over your possessions, including your status burst, but the price is your life force. This blessing is tailor-made for me. Perfect." The scene shifted. Jang Han arrived at the mercenary club and registered Dika as a mercenary, then applied for a werewolf hunting mission. Dika curiously asked, "What are you doing? Didn't you say you want the curse of greed?" "You need a lot of wealth or power, so I plan to train hard and raise your level high enough to meet the curse's requirements." But Dika worried about his hunting curse It greatly strengthens enemies, which is why I've been stuck at this level, Jang Han asked. Are ogres strong? Dika said. Ogres have power comparable to the city lord I once faced, and I can currently handle at most 3 half-orcs alone. After hearing this, Jang Han turned and said slowly, That's it? Let's go. Soon, the two fought 3 werewolves, and Dika's strike easily crippled one. But under the curse of the hunt, the werewolves' strength surged. The massive wounds they once bore, only the werewolves' scalps were broken. Seeing this, Jang Han stepped in to block, and Dika decided to personally deal with the 3 werewolves. Jang Han gripped the holy sword in his hand, and with one swing cut 3 werewolves in half. With such little strength, you dare act arrogant before me? Just like that, the two hunted through the entire night. The next day, Jang Han returned to the academy, only to hear the eldest young master angrily say upon meeting him, Because of you, we have to clean the toilets for half a month. I thought you already dropped out once. If you get accepted again, maybe you won't have to scrub toilets anymore. Want me to lend you a hand? At that moment, a gentle voice came from behind. It was Layla approaching. The eldest young master immediately wrapped his arm around Jang Han. How do you even know him? He's the academy's joke. Jang Han firmly pushed the eldest young master away. You sure meddle a lot. Layla then stated her purpose. Didn't we agree to study magic together? What do you think? Jang Han happily agreed, and Layla left with a bright smile. Don't bail on our magic sessions after school this time. Before leaving, Layla emphasized, don't forget our promise. After school, Jang Han took the eldest young master to a secluded corner, when suddenly, the classmates who'd been reprimanded by Jang Han recently appeared behind them. One spoke for the guardians, I am Wangjia from the kingdom of Gisa. The next second, they all knelt down in perfect unison, leaving Jang Han stunned. They were all elite royals, yet they knelt like commoners at rank 1. It turned out, they wanted to resolve conflicts with Jang Han because if they couldn't enter the advanced class, they'd lose their noble titles. They might even be punished, unable to gain experience or level up as long as their tasks remained incomplete. That meant losing their potential to grow. Jang Han said he wouldn't bother them. Even if they couldn't level up, it didn't seem like a big deal. Hearing this, they stepped forward expressing gratitude. You're way better than I imagined. Jang Han immediately broke down. What on earth did these guys think of me? Soon after, Layla listened as Jang Han recounted what just happened, and they shared a hearty laugh. At that moment, Jang Han asked curiously, Where are we heading? To a quiet place, Layla replied. By the way, I recently met the legendary Young Gung. That statement left Jang Han speechless. Layla continued, I fought alongside Young Gung for a while. He's very confident, but a bit difficult to get along with. Jang Han recalled his own relentless hunts of the beastmen, yet he never earned Layla's praise. Could this guy be braver than me? Moments later, they reached their destination, where Layla began teaching magic. Magic's creation is simple. Focus your attention. Imagine yourself as a newborn baby. Jang Han smoothly felt the magic's power, though the god nearby was clearly displeased by their closeness. Layla then asked Jang Han, Do you understand the true essence of magic? Jang Han immediately raised his hand to shield his face. I do understand. But Layla's attention was fixed on his ring, quietly asking, Where did you get that ring? Am I too late after all? Jang Han blankly looked away. What did you say just now? I didn't catch that. Can you say it again? Nothing. Let's continue studying magic. Then, Jang Han concentrated deeply, feeling the energy within his belly only for it to suddenly vanish under the outsider's influence. Panicked, Jang Han lifted his shirt and stared at his stomach. Why did the warmth disappear? The god beside him laughed uproariously. It turned out the outsider's effect had upgraded from rank 1 to earth level. The next second, Jang Han was struck like by lightning, pain forcing him to his knees. The outsider's reset frequency was accelerating. Jang Han had been controlling his previous power consumption, but now the balance was broken, and his stored energy kept growing. Trembling, he stood up, quickly gathering a ball of energy in his palm, silently praying it would release properly. The next moment, a burst of energy exploded forth, shooting straight into the sky. Now I feel a lot better. Layla was puzzled. Why did Jang Han suddenly cast magic? Is this magic too? Beistya was even more shocked. You actually cast a spell at the incantation level without even knowing it. I get it. I can use swordsmanship through the power of the werewolf, and now I can also cast magic with it. Then, he experimentally cast a few more spells. Just as Jang Han was thrilled to have mastered magic, a teacher at the academy shouted loudly, Who is casually using magic on campus? Jang Han turned around in surprise. It's you again? Jang Han, don't run. Skipping class is one thing, but openly breaking school rules? Don't even think about escaping. Now, let me show you the might of the Sword Saint. Jang Han immediately activated forgiveness, but before absolute fury, Forgiveness lost its effect once again. Then, the Sword Saint leapt high into the air. This time, we'll make up for the swordsmanship lessons you missed. Sorry, teacher, I think I might have more talent in magic. The next moment, the Sword Saint's clothes were torn apart by magic. Jang Han stared, dumbfounded, never expecting his magic to be this strong. A grown man openly attacking his teacher wasn't punished at all. Instead, he earned the favor of the elven teacher. Just now, Jang Han's reckless use of magic caught the Sword Saint's attention. Such a powerful teacher was defeated by Jang Han's single move. Though the teaching director didn't punish Jang Han openly, he made one demand. Jang Han must attend all academy classes on time, but boring lessons are no match for hunting werewolves, right? Just as he planned to sneak away, what he saw made him change his mind. A phoenix's cry echoed from afar. Today's instructor was actually Jang Han's hometown friend, Sarah. Sarah cheerfully introduced herself. The fire phoenix seemed to sense something, quietly flying toward Jang Han, who still hadn't recognized Sarah, the one he had saved. The phoenix stared straight at Jang Han, who felt inexplicably uneasy. That guy seems to be watching me. On stage, Sarah continued explaining the upcoming lesson schedule. Recently, the monsters around the academy have been unusually timid. Our mission is to find out why. After that, we have bi-weekly classes. Jang Han casually glanced at his deskmate. Sounds interesting. What do you think? Malpas. Their noisy chatter immediately caught Sarah's attention. Please keep quiet in class, no shouting, or else. Then Sarah suddenly spotted a familiar face, instantly recognizing her old friend Jang Han. The next moment, she retracted her words. Class is over for today. This class will be held at this time every day. Then, blushing, she left the classroom. Jang Han blamed Malpas, thinking it was all his fault they had to attend class every day. The next day, Sarah's first lesson was about catching enough serums. Jang Han simply took out a bone and instantly attracted hundreds of serums. Sarah excitedly praised Jang Han, saying she had never seen such a smart student, and used this as an excuse to give Jang Han a private lesson. The scene shifted. Sarah happily greeted Jang Han, who politely replied, "Hello, teacher." But this angered Sarah. Didn't we agree not to use such formal titles in private? Jang Han stammered, "Okay, Miss Sarah." Then Sarah introduced, "Today's lesson, how to interact with friendly monsters. If you were my serum, I'll show you how to treat it." She then walked to a big tree, signaling Jang Han to lie on her lap. Jang Han calmly followed the instruction. Sarah asked in confusion, "Did I scare you? Am I rushing things?" Jang Han quickly reassured her, "It's okay. It's okay. Thanks to the outsider's blessing, I can stay calm." At that moment, Shin narrowed his eyes, staring darkly at the scene, making Jang Han fall into deep thought. Whether it's Sarah, Layla, or the previous female classmate, is it the academy that's crazy? Or is something wrong with this world? Why does everyone keep clinging to me? Facing the elven teacher's advances, Jang Han remained surprisingly calm, even saying class is less important than hunting. After a night of hunting, Jang Han happily opened Dika's status panel. Even though Dika leveled up from 27 to 31, why haven't I gotten the Greek curse yet? Dika said this was expected. That curse isn't so easy to achieve, but we did gain something. But Dika immediately recalled the mercenary boss's attitude. "Please stop bringing back these werewolf ears, that the safes are emptied. We can't afford the mission's commission anymore. If you have doubts, you should change the mission requirements. We finish your task, or are you trying to back out of payment? Since that's the case, I have another mission you can take on. You'll be pleased this one's an S-rank mission." Cut to the scene, Jang Han arrived at the mission site carrying a shovel. The S-rank task? Digging up the soil here. Jang Han grumbled as he dug angrily. An S-rank mission? Looks more like tomb raiding to me. Nearby, Dika said, "It's probably more interesting than sitting in classes at the academy, right?" Half an hour passed. Jang Han had already dug a deep pit. Even his iron body was starting to tire. Better to just blast this place open with magic, but that might damage important relics. There could be huge secrets hidden here. So I have to dig with my own hands? Wish I had more people to help. Then Jang Han remembered the holy sword he hadn't used in a while and opened a teleport gate within the ruins, planning to summon some people to work. Soon, a group of burly men stepped out. Jang Han went from laborer to foreman, settling down leisurely on the grass to rest. The god immediately said, "That's not something an outsider should do. When others work, if I rest, isn't that fitting the definition of an outsider too?" The god was convinced by Jang Han's smooth talk. Makes perfect sense, Jang Han thought, watching the workers. Maybe he'd summoned a few too many. Just then, a villager approached with food, asking if Jang Han wanted a late-night snack. Jang Han accepted. More people wouldn't be bad either. From the villager, Jang Han learned that a hero had arrived in the ruins. The hero was still training swordsmanship inside the warehouse. A chill ran down Jang Han's spine. Good thing he hadn't been to the ruins lately, or else he might have gotten caught by the demon god. As dawn approached, Jang Han got up to leave for class at the academy. Before leaving, he told Dika to watch over the workers carefully. Walking along, Jang Han couldn't wrap his head around what happened in class. The whole lesson was just the elf teacher staring at me. Could it be the effect of that elf's blessing? Jang Han hadn't recognized the elf teacher all these days, but it was the same elf old Lee had saved back then. The god was very displeased with Jang Han's behavior. Then the academy's homeroom teacher approached. From now on, no matter your exam scores, you will always be in the top class. Jang Han was baffled. Why was he receiving such special treatment? The homeroom teacher's next words shocked Jang Han. Because you're Professor Sarah's friend. But it comes with conditions. You must complete a mission to pass your exam. This mission could even decide the fate of our academy. Jang Han politely agreed. Once he saw the mission assigned, the homeroom teacher immediately turned and left. Shortly after, Jang Han found Dika to complete the mission. After some small talk, he was ready to take Dika along. Dika immediately sensed a strong elf aura emanating from Jang Han. Stop messing around, come with me. Cut to Jang Han leading Dika out to a wild meadow, then explaining the mission, to capture a pet strong enough. Dika covered his mouth, laughing joyfully. You already have a demon pet as powerful as me, what else are you looking for? The god chimed in. You should tame a fierce flame dragon king, Dika agreed. A powerful pet fitting for you. Only the flame dragon king or a flying serpent. How could I find such monsters in a place like this? Dika said there was a monster perfect for Jang Han, strong and intelligent. What monster? Tell me now. That's me, Dika. Instantly, Jang Han and the god fell silent. Once an invincible hero, Jiuxiang had now sunk to feeding on Salem. One careless moment, he was wrapped by a 100-meter-long giant python. Jang Han watched it all unfold. As the python's grip tightened, Jiuxiang quickly weakened, frothing at the mouth, and soon passed out completely. The python sighed, today's a good day. Then it noticed Jang Han at the cliff's edge, face flushing, threatening to take Jang Han away for a good time. Hearing this, Dika disdainfully shook his head and to Jang Han's surprise, jumped straight down. The python hadn't grasped the gravity of the situation as Dika grabbed its tail. Trash like you dare to provoke my master? With that, Dika charged forward and knocked down the bluffing giant python with a single punch. You little Kalami, worthy of being my master's pet, just as. As Dika was about to finish off this pathetic beast, Jang Han suddenly spoke up to stop him. This guy can at least speak human language. Maybe he can help us complete the mission. Before Dika could react, the giant python whipped its tail, smashing toward him. Seizing the moment, it quickly slipped away on its feet, trying to escape, and threw out a boastful line as it left. Consider yourself lucky today, I'll let you go. But the next second, karma struck. Jang Han stared in shock as a plump creature swallowed the python whole. The god declared this was a cute dragon, and Jang Han nearly fell over at the comment. You call that a dragon? Shouldn't a dragon look like the ones we saw recently? Just then, the dragon's curse was duly punished. The little dragon immediately glared angrily at the cursed Jang Han. All right, looks like this really is a dragon. As the little dragon's powerful slap came crashing down, Jang Han didn't flinch in the slightest. Why does everyone want to kill me? With a casual strike, he knocked back the fierce Yunrian Wang. Tears welled in the little dragon's eyes as it painfully looked toward its flying food, clutching the instrument dangling high above. It poured all the resentment from being summoned to this world by Yosin into that single strike. A 1,000-meter-long sword light surged swiftly toward the ground. Under the dazzling red glow, the baby dragon instantly regained clarity. The next moment, the attack brushed past his wings. Gazing at the bottomless chasm beside him, the baby dragon broke into a cold sweat. From now on, you're my pet. The man had been summoned to this world by Yosin, but only wanted to return to the comfort of home, only to be cursed by Yosin as a hero who could never level up. Yet with one strike, he cleaved a chasm dozens of miles long and tamed the fearsome sea dragon Yunrian Wang, bringing him one step closer to avenging Yosin. The sea dragon trembled under Jang Han's terrifying power, but Jang Han himself began to worry. How much food does this big guy need every day? Dika asked, pointing at the serpent's tail. Sea dragons aren't picky eaters. They eat anything, even steel can be food for them. The frightened sea dragon slowly opened one eye, watching Jang Han's every move. Jang Han silently placed his palm on its forehead and whispered softly, From now on, you're coming with me. Your name is Maz too. Dika looked at the sea dragon with sympathy, while Jang Han beamed, having gained a powerful new pet. Soon, the two happily sat atop Maz 2's back, setting off on the road back to the city. Before long, everyone at the academy noticed the sky suddenly darken. Looking up, a massive blue sea dragon soared through the sky. its outstretched wings blocking the sunlight. The sturdy Jang Han angrily flicked his head and warned, "Keep your voice down and fly down quickly." News of Jang Han's and Shilong's return spread quickly through the academy. Even the tough-head instructor gasped in surprise. When asked about what happened, Jang Han paused, then explained, "I found this dragon by the roadside. No one wanted it, felt too pitiful, so I thought I'd bring it back and feed it. You shouldn't have any objections, right?" Not long after, Jang Han began training the sea dragon's combat skills. Rolling up his sleeves, he grabbed hold of a wooden pole dozens of meters long, then threw it with all his might. The pole flew past Moss in an instant. Jang Han called for it to fetch, and Moss joyfully howled to the sky before sprinting off into the distance. Jang Han and the elf teacher stood watching. Sarah spoke up first, praising Mos. "Such an obedient creature." Jang Han responded with a smile, "I think so too." Just then, a classmate rushed over holding a pet, begging Sarah for 2 minutes. "I just got some rare energy and got interrupted." Sarah angrily refused. "Can't you see this is an important tutoring session? If it's urgent, talk after class." But he was persistent, holding up his pet. "If you see my friend, you'll change your mind. This is my friend." The god immediately recognized it as a rare divine pet. Jang Han, however, thought it looked more like a pink toy. Sarah also recognized it as a descendant of divine pets, but still refused him. After all, he wasn't simply attending class because of a pet. Yet Jang Han was inspired by it so long as someone else came to class. Sarah showed no interest in divine pets, perhaps because he already had a phoenix. The next day, Jang Han appeared in class as usual. However, they had a new teacher that day, one who taught dark magic at the academy. His very first words were a question, "What do you all think of dark magic?" Then he answered himself. The first thing he said was to ask everyone what they thought of black magic. Then he started answering himself. Most people think black magic is evil, but this is a misunderstanding. The appearance of black magic, but before long, he slumped over his desk and fell fast asleep. By nightfall, so whether it's evil or not depends on the user. At first, Jang Han listened with great interest and began pondering the meaning of black magic. Dika explained slowly. Elves aren't like Akmanoi or angels, who naturally live long lives. Instead, elves live longer by minimizing consumption. For a human, a wound might heal in a day, but elves need 2 weeks. They require far more time to recover. Elves just can't heal as quickly as Akmanoi. A wound that could heal in 1 day would take elves 2 weeks, and they needed even more time to recover their injuries. For elves, but for Akmanoi, lifespans are long and recovery is fast. But the function's focus is on recovery speed, so the key issue is life force. Just then, cheers erupted from nearby workers. Thanks to their efforts, they finally uncovered the secret treasure. Robust Jang Han watched happily, a month and more of searching at last rewarded. But it looked much deeper than he'd imagined. Without hesitation, the two jumped right in. Suddenly, Daika's flames lit up the darkness. Jang Han covered his mouth, his face twisted in pain. He must have hit something earlier. Just as they wondered why nothing special appeared before them, heavy footsteps sounded behind. Turning around, they saw a massive green blob. Thanks to Dika's explanation, they realized it was a troll. But Jang Han showed no fear. Swiftly drawing his holy sword, he split the troll clean in two. Body parts flew everywhere, nearly hitting Dika. No sooner had they finished one, corpses shattered and flew everywhere, nearly hitting Dika. But just after finishing one, looking at the green slime covering him, Jang Han nearly vomited. Their deaths were disgustingly messy. Jang Han looked at the green liquid coating him and nearly vomited. The way they died was just too gruesome. At that moment, Jang Han's ring suddenly flickered, pointing straight ahead. It seemed the mercenary captain hadn't lied. There really was an S-rank treasure here.